Hello and welcome to Encountering Good Society here on Encounter Roleplay. This is part 2 of our two-shot where we deep dive into some Austen adventures with scandals, secrets, long-lost friends, and quiet loves here in the heart of the English countryside. I would just like to welcome everyone in today. I hope you're all comfortable. And I would like to say hello to our facilitator today, Lauren. How are you doing, Lauren?
Hello, I am doing all right. I am very excited because I get to play some characters today. We, before the stream, made some extra connections. And so, yeah, I would love for everyone to go around and I guess when they introduce themselves, also introduce their the character they're playing, the connection they're playing, and also the new connection they've created.
Awesome. So that is what we will do as we go around, and then we will go and speak to past Charlie before we dive into one of my favorite phases in this game. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's go and say hello to the wonderful Gabe James Games. Hi, Gabe. How are you doing?
I'm good. So hi, I'm Gabe James Games, Twitch, Twitter, pretty much everywhere on social media. Today I am playing Veleno Chivord, a Frenchman who has a secret fiance that he's trying to romance and adore, but so many complications keep making it come across. But I'm also playing, ironically, my secret fiance's niece, Rebecca. She is a very modern English woman. She's trying to put her aunt back on the right path. We'll see how that goes. And the new connection that I actually made is Marchioness Adelaide Cosette, a French noblewoman and one of the Queen's favorites.
Well, scandal brews as more French arrive on the scene. Let's go and say hello to my nemesis, Shakespeare.
Hi. So I'm playing Lady Iphis Hart, Countess of Denby, who is a member of the peerage and therefore better than all of you, but is in slight trouble at the moment because a scene was caused at her ball, a rather large and loud scene where she yelled a lot. She is desperately trying to get her ward married and everyone married and just sort everyone else's lives out because she doesn't want to look at her own, particularly at the moment. The connection I'm playing is Leon, who is the friend of Veleno Chivord. He has already done so well for himself and married an English woman and become naturalized and basically spends all of his time eating cake and drinking wine. I mean, English wine, it's not that good, but there you are. And very much wants his friend to have the same good fortune as him and find all of his happiness. And the connection I have created is the lovely Henry Armitage, who is Iphis Hart's butler and the head of her household at her massive, sprawling country estate. He's a tall, quiet, sensible man who nevertheless has the ear of Lady Iphis, and she listens to devotedly, given that they're kind of secretly in love, but can't do anything about it because, you know, class. But he is her confidant and the person she trusts above all, to puncture her pride and tell her the truth.
And speaking of puncturing pride, the wonderful Leandro is here, and who? Sip of tea, very important, don't rush. Take a moment. All right, the wonderful Leandro joins us today, and who will you be playing, sir?
Hi, so I'm playing Judith York. Uses he and pronouns. He is the bitter, trying to be shrewd sort of socialite who has determined that the world is kind of not great. Partially thanks to a bad breakup between herself and Lady Iphis, and has determined to bring everyone down to his level, starting with that rakish, far too dashing Veleno, and he'll work his way from there. God, he's so dreamy. Look at him right there. And I'm also playing Well, I'm playing poor Albert Vimes, Bertie, to anyone close to him, although he's not sure who he can be close to these days. He is the oldest son of a baroness who's been living with Lady Iphis. He is the ward who Lady Iphis has tried to get engaged with a certain someone who we'll meet in a moment. But that engagement did not end well, and so life has been a very steady downward spiral for poor Bertie. Maybe we'll rectify that tonight. The second connection I created is Judith York, who's Joseph's older sister. She's the head of the family business. She's ambitious, terribly driven, happily married, set to become a major title of industry, absolutely faultless in every direction except with regards to her brother. She thinks Joseph's trying his best, but he can't possibly be happy right now. That's the Yorks for you, I suppose.
Wow. Speaking of, Joseph York and someone seeking his affections, I play the connection Lady Caroline Griffin, who has been seeking to make their relationship more than just friends, trying oh so hard, and she has Joseph cornered, or so she thinks. It's finally time to make a sensible match, a sensible deal. And she has agreed in a convoluted manner to assist Joseph in the downfall of the Leno. Because, no one upsets her boo. So that is what is going on there. I, myself, am playing Major Annabelle Fallow, who had a bit of a showdown at a ball. All she wanted to do was make up. But pride, prejudice, and lines of propriety stood between her and her long-lost friend, the Lady Iphis. My new connection, which I just kind of made a little bit with chat, is Susanna Lockhart, my junior from the army. I haven't written in her description on the sheet yet, but Annabelle is her 19. And I think that, not Annabelle, that's me, the other one, Susanna, even, is probably over-ambitious and over-excitable, as the young tend to be, and has a lot of idealism and optimism, which fuels the dream of what her life might be. Thank you so much, Not Great RPG. We are going to have a great show today. So that's 500 bits. Lauren, normally in our games, for 500 bits, we would do, I think it's a crit or a boon. So maybe you could think of something that we could do for those.
Yeah. So it's just one crit?
Yeah, so.
Or yeah, okay. In that case, Not Great RPG. If you would like to decide who gets an extra resolve token among us, we will give one of you an extra resolve token. So,
Gabe, I see you. Wow. So that's the kind of the setup of our characters today. We'll talk a little bit more about how the game is played and dive into it very soon. But first, I do have to hand over to Past Charlie to tell us all about our sponsors today. Before we begin today's show, I would like to take some time to remind you about our sponsors. Fantasy Grounds, our virtual tabletop of choice. All of the beautiful maps and roles you see tonight are done using Fantasy Grounds, which you can try for free at fantasygrounds.com. You can also get all of your miniatures from Wayland Games. Go to waylandgames.co.uk and get yourself a huge range of D&D, Warhammer and 40k minis for up to 20% off regular retail price. And Tabletop Loot, who sell incredible dice. Go and check them out at tabletoploot.com.
This, so 1, 2, 3, 4.
We are rolling a d6 to decide who gets this. 1 to 5 going around the screen. On a 6, we will re-roll.
So I rolled a 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. It's you.
Of course, you.
Hashtag.
My beautiful.
It's not like you don't have enough.
Yeah, I somehow
Oh,
didn't
the
use any of
resolve
my resolve
token.
tokens, I don't think.
You beautiful, sweet.
Precious requires more resolve.
Proud
Yes.
of you.
But
So
I am
people
resolute.
want-
That is probably time we play this game and don't let me become Gollum.
Oh, Gabe gets one too. There we go.
Oh.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Yeah, so quick recap about the things that happened last time. We had Velano appear in front of Annabelle and try to rekindle a love that they started in the war when they were enemies. And Annabelle really, really wanted to, but was maybe, I don't know, there were issues. Was unsure about the propriety of things because Velano didn't know. So Velano, I think, was feeling a little bit put out by all of that. Caroline and Joseph made a kind of shady agreement in which Joseph would marry Caroline in exchange for ruining Velano's life. Is that what happened? Perfect. Good. And Iphis and Annabelle had a very, very large fight in front of in a ball. The rumors that we have spread is that Annabelle cruelly broke her engagement in public after returning from the war. Joseph is intimidated by the young upstart Frenchman. The Frenchman, Velano, has come to marry an Englishwoman. Joseph is likely to accept Caroline's proposal this time. Lady Denby will be most displeased if anyone accepts Major Fallow's invitation, which I'm actually that's kind of not in play anymore because the party is over. The party never happened. And somewhat important, one of the king's favorites is coming to town. The other thing that I will probably just resolve in letter writing is that a lot of reputation conditions were triggered. So just to remind all of y'all what everybody's reputation conditions are. So Iphis has a fracture with Bertie. Bertie is appalled by Iphis's behavior and refuses to talk to her. Velano also has a fracture, and it is with Laurent's wife, Cecile. But an unexpected connection appeared, and this is, of course, the Marchioness Adelaide Cosette, who has arrived to England, and while this condition is active, Velano is the Marchioness's favorite. Annabelle, is in career peril. And I forgot what we decided exactly. I don't think we figured out exactly.
I think she was due to receive a letter from her superiors. And I think I suggested that she was about to be sent back to France or something similar. She's basically being moved out of society situation. Over there. Or that she was maybe in threat of a demotion, or just to be sent anywhere else other than where she is, because clearly she can't be trusted.
Yeah. Well, so what do you think is worse for her, to be sent away or to be demoted?
I think career-wise, to be demoted would be horrific. That's like your reputation is just garbage. And you were going back because you might as well be kicked out of the army at that point, right? You might as well just be removed. Yeah,
because if she was sent away, then she could, make herself.
But personally, I think being sent away would be worse for Annabelle. She, I think thought she was kind of done with the campaign to a degree until something really serious came up, and also because Velano is now here. She doesn't want to go away
Yeah,
And,
absolutely.
You know, it would be to somewhere dangerous. It wouldn't just be out for a walkabout type duty. It would be, no, go face down the cannons. You've been a very bad girl. Go do your job.
Yeah, I think that's definitely the more interesting choice. But she has Annabelle has the positive reputation tag, a second pair of hands, and this is, of course, Susanna Lockhart. Did we decide what her title was? She's your junior, so something I don't know much about army things, so somebody figure out her title. But she is
Isn't she a lieutenant?
Lieutenant. Oh, yeah,
or a captain, either.
Up to you. So she has arrived to while this condition is active, she is ready to assist you in all appropriate manners. And Joseph has a fracture with... Was it a fracture with your sister? Did we decide?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we tried that because the other one doesn't make sense because me and Lady Karen apparently are somewhat in lockstep with each other. So
Yeah. So yes, Judith refuses to talk to her brother, but Joseph York has developed an incredible amount of social capital. And this means that when you offer connections, relationship advice in confidence that appears reasonable, they will follow it. So here's hoping for the scene. I guess you can't give yourself... I mean, you could write yourself a letter giving Birdie advice to... or which I would love, but... and just as a reminder for the audience, we are playing in a setting where the gender power balance is reversed. So women are the only ones who are able to inherit entailed estate, hold significant careers, and make the first move. And also we are playing with history being kind of important, but we're not gonna hold it to any kind of standard if we think the story would be better that way. So with all of that done, alt history, I mean, yeah, we try, we're gonna try our best, but also story is more fun than looking things up on Wikipedia mid-game.
It's like Cthulhu history. If you're not worried about the monsters, don't worry about whether or not it's a dry state.
It's true. Yeah, so now we are going to just finish up this first cycle that we played. We're going to play the Epistolary Phase, which means that everybody can write 2 letters from a connection that you control or from your main character to each other. And I will also probably write some letters from all of these new connections and trigger some of these conditions. So, but I need to think about that. So if anybody has any ideas or letters that they pre-wrote, feel free.
Why do I get the feeling Charlie came prepared?
Yeah, I see Charlie pull out her notebook.
I see the snap of the elastic off the notebook.
Charlie, would you like to start?
Funny thing is, this is actually the wrong notebook. I gotta go grab the right one. Be right back.
Oh.
Stationary problems.
Well,
I had an idea for one of my letters. I have not prepared it, but Lady Ifis would write a letter to Rebecca. Basically just a nice polite way of saying, I don't hold any of this against you. You're a lovely, charming girl and your relatives are not your fault. And basically just making sure that that social connection is still alive and making sure that Rebecca knows that, no harm will come to her family through like reputation wise, all, you know, double talk and between the lines, but basically saying your aunt is not your fault, you're still good with me, Chuck. But, you know, rather grander. Yes, basically, I was about to say, kind of segueing into mentioning Bertie just lightly to Rebecca, but it's not the point of the letter. It's just, yeah, have you met Bertie? But the body of the letter is just to reassure her that Lady Iphis still values Rebecca a great deal and is looking to her future. You know, wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Wonderful. All right. So, Charlie, do you have the proper notebook?
I do.
I
It says
would
good
love to hear
vibes,
this
so
letter.
that's totally what we're going to do. Actually, no, it says good karma club, so that's actually more appropriate. So this letter is written to Veleno. It's written in a hurried hand, and you can see the pen has kind of been pushed in to the point where it's cut grooves into the paper in places. And it reads, Dear Veleno, there is a human so devoid of personal value that she will rest upon a crumbling title that will yet become a feast for carrion, because she is so divisive and manipulative in her manufacture of affairs for others that she avoids and obscures her own. The line for the toleration of such ill-conceived mechanism has grown taut, and I fear that I did trip over it upon attending the Countess of Denby's ball. But I have no regrets in doing so, as I will not endure a false friendship in my life, nor suffer the ill content of her own making. Misery for the sake of shallow propriety is not my estate, that is hers. I serve God, Queen, and country, and then my own heart's business. And Veleno, I will endure to keep my promises made to you. But I fear things will grow only more complicated in the coming months. And then there's a line that's been scratched out really hard. But if you turn the letter over, you'll still see I love you written in French. And she's pressed in another flower from the garden, but it's a buttercup and it's been really smushed in. So it's kind of left a yellow stain where it's been just pushed into this letter. And that's the end of her letter to Veleno. It's angry. It's full of multiple syllabic words because that's how angry Annabelle is. And the impression is that it was written as soon as Annabelle arrived home after the night of the ball. And I like to think it was sent with kind of her personal maid. And it was one of those like, no, run across the countryside right now and take this letter to him. And I don't have a second letter right now, but that was my first letter.
I do have a first letter that I would respond, actually, and it's very short. Dear Annabelle, I know your duty and status are your first priorities with all things, and I respect it. I will make sure they stand where they are. Veleno. And that's it.
He's so dreamy.
And then the second letter is actually going to be to Cecile. Dear Cecile, I am aware of this. I am looking to avoid any more conflict or problems to you and your family. I know that you have taken a chance and taken favor for Laurent, and I'm aware of my choices. I have decided things that I will do following now, so I will no longer be a burden. Veleno.
Oh my.
And those are my two letters.
Oh wow, you just went off. So Joseph gets a letter. It's kind of like the last correspondence you get from your sister. Joseph, I hear that you have accepted a duel with a Frenchman. What on earth are you doing? I thought you knew better. You are too old for this foolishness now. It is about time you start thinking about your future. Also, I regret to inform you that business is such that I will be excuse me. Business is such that I have had to reduce your income for the next several months. Your sister, Judith York.
Hit him where it hurts, the wallet.
I mean, that is I should look at my desire. Yeah, coming to substantial wealth. That's I'm meant to be doing. I do have beginnings of a letter. This is actually from Joseph to Lady Carolyn Griffin. This is probably written soon after he got that letter, and it goes something along the lines of to the Lady Carolyn Griffin. I hope you're witness to the rather, well, to be frank, appalling display that was at Lady Iphis's ball. Though I would be quick to point out the almost as appalling behavior that rapscallion Velano tried to pull upon myself. It's quite rude of him to throw down a challenge after such an ugly social fracas, and I hope it better emphasizes just how rude and unseemly his behavior has been. I do appreciate your efforts to help me in this matter. I do believe that it would strike someone that this is a matter most petty to pursue, and yet this is where my mind went away for a bit. And yet I do believe it is an important matter to pursue. Otherwise, this boy would quickly find himself smashing against the brick wall that we ourselves have tried to clamber far too many times. I would like to invite yourself to my home at the soonest. I do believe if we are to continue this engagement, we should better acquaint ourselves beyond certain ambushes on certain roads. Yours, Joseph York.
Lauren, I have a question.
Yes.
Can a connection write a letter to a connection?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Upon receiving this letter, Lady Caroline Griffin will write a letter to the Lady Cecile. It's a short note that expresses, although it is but a petty matter, it is no doubt in my mind, however, a great matter. That such scandalous behaviour as your charge Veleno exhibited at the Lady Denby's ball be allowed to stand, and that you would tolerate such behaviour in your household. We are long good friends, and I trust in your judgment of this matter. Please attend tea on insert appropriate date. Kind wishes to you and your husband, yada yada yada, Lady Caroline Griffin.
Wow.
You are lucky she likes you, Joseph York.
It took a while for him to realize that.
Ambush. It wasn't.
So you get a letter you get 2 letters, Annabelle. The first is from the army, and it is your new commission to go off fighting in some terrible place in I don't know, France, I guess. Just somewhere awful. It's a long, hard battle over too little land, and it's very obvious that you're being sent there to have a very good long think about your behavior. And then very soon after, you get a letter, says, Major, I have heard tell about your new commission and have attached myself to the mission in order to assist you. I will be in the neighborhood very soon and would request that you inform me immediately of anything that I can do to make these your circumstances easier. Captain Lockhart.
Annabelle broods and paces in her drawing room for approximately 45 minutes.
I think Lady Iphas's second letter would be to, rather uncommonly, would be directly to Velino, but it would be delivered like to Cecile, but addressed to Velino because she's a countess. She can do what she wants at this point. And it would simply be an invitation to high tea. And there would be no mention of a chaperone, which is quite daring. But again, Pia. It would be a very short, it would be very similar to the invitation to the ball. Just very, very plain and kind of like, just to Velino, invite here. It wouldn't exactly be a letter so much as just the action of inviting him to tea. She's not really in a letter writing mood. Bertie, welcome to breakfast. It's a really long table to have to eat at alone, okay?
I'm going to spend a resolve token. I'm going to actually spend, I'm looking at the wrong tag. I'm going to spend Velino's foolish tag to say that you get a quick note delivered like to your room when you wake up in the morning. And if this is all right with you, it is going to be a letter saying, Velino, I think perhaps it is best that you find somewhere else to stay for the next little while. Do you want that? All right,
Yeah.
Go ahead, take that resolve token. And on the heels of that, you get, when you go down for breakfast, a proper letter, delivered to you on a plate, as they do in the movies. It says, Monsieur, I find myself in your beautiful neighborhood, and I have been gifted such beautiful estates for to visit for the time, although the gardens seem quite awful, much too wild for my taste. Perhaps you would be good enough to spend some time with me visiting oh God, what did she say? She's going to say something like, the house is much too big to live in alone. Yours. And she'll use her full like Marchioness Adelaide Quebec.
close the letter, put it in my pocket, have breakfast like nothing happened. It's very warm today, Jerome.
Does anybody
Are you
else have
feeling
any
all right?
letters?
This is England. It is never warm.
Yes.
I have one more letter. It's a quick one from Joseph back to his sis. As much as I would like to give myself advice, I don't know if Joseph particularly knows Bertie that well or is interested, honestly. So, alas, Bertie will remain adrift for the moment. I do have an idea for him for a scene, but we'll get to that later. Yeah, and I'm gonna activate my negative tag of petty because the letter goes, "Dear Judith, fret not. I have one last childish moment within me, and once that is done, I will be ready to beat the swords back into plowshares and rejoin you in the comforting halls of maturity. Yours always, your brother."
I really want to have it sent back unread. Yeah. Yeah, I think that I think, and that's that's the scene that kind of triggers that fracture condition, is that it's sent back unread.
Damn, that's cold.
I tell you what, the weather in England right now is frosty.
Yup.
All right, so if that is our epistolary phase, we will now go into the upkeep phase. So the first thing that we do, which is what we have all been waiting for, is to use any remaining monologue tokens. And because just the way things have been traded around, actually, no, oh gosh, yeah, I guess because of the way things have been traded around, Gabe has not monologued, and therefore, Velino, we need to hear his inner monologue. And does anybody have any particular moments they would like, or things that they would like him to monologue about, or is it just kind of his emotional state currently right now? And I'm gonna open this up to everybody else, unless you have a monologue prepared because you had the chance.
I can blend in anything. If you got something, let me know, because I'll give you his deepest innermost thoughts. Charlie, you look very emotional right now.
I am so scared about what is in Villano's head right now.
Ooh.
From the ball until like after the letters situation, I'm just like, this poor boy.
I wish I had popcorn.
If no one has anything, I'll just go into it. None of this is good. I have been a burden to Laurent. I've ostracized myself from Cecile and Annabelle. She already has so many problems to deal with, and all I've done is create more. Maybe passion has no place in England. That's what I'm learning. They are here for business, and the business that I bring is not good. Of course, the Marchioness shows up now, just in the time where I have nowhere to stay, and I can't go to Annabelle to stay, because all I would do is bring the weight of problems that she cannot stand. I know that her status and her position are her world, and she is mine. So if I am to care for that, then I have to leave her to it. I suppose I will see what the Marchioness has to say, and maybe what I leave can be an eye on the sad loud Frenchman rather than the bold Annabelle. And that's his monologue.
No.
Oh, Bella, no.
This is 100% that moment in the movie where we see Villano like packing his shit to go to the Marchioness's house, and I'm going, no, don't do it.
Sad
Honestly,
Froggy is sad.
after the ball, he probably had already started packing his stuff before he even got the letter.
Oh no! I'm so
This is
sorry.
great.
I had to do the mean thing.
Oh,
It
it's
was
perfect.
good for the story.
Great. It'll make the resolution so much sweeter. Gotta
It
work it.
will.
We gotta work for it.
I'll admit, I wanted to see Charlie's reaction, and I feel a little bad. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to hurt you.
She's felt so much emotion, her glasses came off. Oh.
I'm good. That's so dramatic.
All right. So now let's finish up the upkeep phase, where we kind of pull out of the story and hang out firmly in the meta for a bit. So the next thing we do in the upkeep phase is everybody gets their monologue token back.
Yes.
Yes. So we refresh the monologue tokens. And everybody can mark their have you monologue this cycle to no. So this means that today we can have all new monologues, and if we get ourselves into another situation where there's one last monologue, because we will have no upkeep phase, then we'll just do it. And everybody gets one resolve token, and I get 3. Yeah.
I'm gonna start
GM rules.
spending some of these.
There's a lot of resolve tokens.
Y'all have so many.
And it's not
So
even
many.
And it's not even just like the personal character resolve tokens. Like there are so many resolve tokens on the board. We have 6 rumors. We have so many tags. Like we can be doing stuff with these tokens.
Oh, because I forgot it was a thing. Can we say that Annabelle used the violent temper token on her letter to Villano? Does that make sense?
Well,
Or her reckless one? Because that would be a bad letter for someone to intercept.
yeah, I can say that. Unless I feel like it would be more appropriate to use that token if somebody actually did intercept it.
Okay.
So, do we want to do that?
What if someone did intercept it? That would be real fucking bad.
What if somebody just like read it over your shoulder while you were writing it, or somebody read it, or maybe
Like a
can we have
servant?
Cecile read it? Because she's apparently going.
She's
to
the lady
hide
of the house. She could have easily
Yeah.
intercepted whatever was coming in.
Mhm.
I would be happy to give you that.
I love that. Let's do that, and you can use your reckless. I think that is the most narratively interesting thing that we can do at this juncture. And then now we're going to just quickly review our collaboration phase. We're not going to change the accuracy of, or the importance of historical accuracy, although I did very early on switch it from a little important to somewhat important, because I noticed that we were all kind of like into figuring out, where the Countess of Denby actually happened and what these actual things were, so like we're obviously like a little interested enough to look things up, but nothing that's going to stop play. We're not going to change the power balance, and I think, is everybody still good with all open secrets for characters? Perfect. The one thing that I think we should talk about is tone. because I think we have shifted from the romantic comedy tone kind of more into the drama tone. So let me read the descriptions for each of those tones, and then we'll decide how we want to proceed with that. So actions have consequences, but past misdemeanors can be recovered from. Fortunate and humorous coincidences can occur, and triumphant moments are possible. Connections respect their own interests, but can be swayed. Society is quick to judge, but also quick to forget. This is the romantic comedy tone. The drama tone: things are difficult and actions have serious consequences. Tensions are quick to inflame. Connections viciously pursue their own ends. Society is harsh and judgmental. I think this is kind of where we have been naturally leaning. So the question is, do we want to try and shift it back to romantic comedy, or do we just want to own it and go harder into drama?
I kind of want a happy ending.
Yeah? All right. We can, I mean, then yeah, let's keep it, if everybody still wants a happy ending, which I like happy endings too. Let's keep it in romantic comedy and just like keep that in mind as we go through this last cycle. How do we feel about that?
Deal.
Awesome. The other thing that I suggest that we do is look over our Lines and Veils doc again. See, just to refresh ourselves, if anything needs to be added, you can go ahead and add that in. You can do that anonymously. We don't have to talk about it on stream. And the things that we said we wanted to see in the game when we started collaboration: a wedding, a ball, a picnic, horses. Gabe wants to fall in love, which happened. Moonlit balconies, dramatic rescues.
We had a ball.
We did have a ball, and Gabe did fall in love. Maybe we can get a wedding. Is there anything else we want to see? And we can kind of be more specific. Like, I would really like to see Birdie happy at the end of this. That's what I'm putting in.
Yes, I would like that too.
I really hope Birdie becomes the Marchioness's new pet. That, in my head, is a delightful moment. But I think that's too specific.
I'd like to see him happy. There are many options for that, but just happy and talking to me again. I miss Bertie.
Is there anything else?
Way too attached to this character.
Is there anything else that we want to see, or more narratively things we don't want to see, like, or like pairings we want to shoot for towards the end? Like, this is a game that's very much like, let's talk about what we want and then figure out how to get there through play, as opposed to just figuring out.
I chose to be a meddler. And it says somewhere on my sheet that I'm supposed to pick couples to try and get them married. Would that count?
Yes.
Because I have already picked the couples in my head.
Oh, yes. Please tell me. Please tell us who you would like to see married.
Lady Ifis is definitely trying to make sure that Caroline and Joseph get married.
Okay.
Partially because Caroline asked, and partially because she just wants Joseph nice and settled and looked after. Because she still cares. Not enough to marry him, but she still cares. She's also kind of looking at Rebecca with an eye to Bertie, but always just getting Bertie married would be goal.
Okay.
And she basically wants to find out who Velino wants to marry and then make it happen, which is going to be interesting.
It's gonna
be interesting.
That's gonna be a struggle for her, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And the last thing that we'll do is just everybody can look at their desires.
I would also just like to add, I really hope Veleno and Joseph have this duel. I don't need to see the whole duel, but I hope they come and they actually have a face-off moment.
I was gonna start with the duel. So yeah. I was gonna start with the duel, but the other thing that we'll do is just, you can look at your desires, and if you think your desires still apply, that's great. If you want to change any of your desires, but everybody's desires still seem to kind of be what's happening. My only question is, Annabelle, is your desire still to restore your reputation and be forgiven, or are there other things that are more pressing to her right now?
I think right now she's very angry and has no desire to be Lady Iphis' friend on the surface. I think deep down, that's still a deep desire. That's why she was so upset and so angry. But I think the more pressing is to restore her reputation to secure her relationship with Villano. I think she's moving up that plan of, I was going to do the soft introduction and figure this shit out. Now I've just got to figure this shit out because
now
a
you
lot's
just got to
happening.
do it. Okay. Awesome. So that is the upkeep phase, which I think is a very cool phase that exists in this game. This is the section where Lauren talks about how cool this game is because it has pre-built check-ins, and I love it. So now we are going to do our final cycle. So some of the phases we won't be going through again. Like we unfortunately do not get to return to the rumor and scandal phase again. But we are going to start with a novel chapter. And so this is what I'm thinking, is that we either do a series of visitations, which are short scenes, and end with the duel, or we kind of like smush visitations and a split chapter together. And a split chapter is when you have two scenes going at the same time, like in the same time period, and kind of switching back and forth. And so what I'm thinking is that one half of our split chapter is the duel, and then we see what everybody else is doing during the duel.
I like that
What do we
idea.
think?
Mm-hmm.
I'm here for it.
Awesome. So let's start with this. Let's start with this duel. Where is it? What does it look like? How do... Oh, hello, Raiders. Yeah, where is the duel? Who is here? How are you feeling?
So
Well, it's
I
better
feel
know
like because
who
I challenged you, so I feel like you probably get to decide.
Okay. My head is just like immediately thinking next to a river. I'm not sure why.
I like it. So we can have a scene where we like skip across rocks, and we're still fencing while we're going across rocks.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. Sorry. I wasn't even thinking about that. It's like, oh, okay. Oh, okay. All right. Hell yeah. My other thought was going to be a bridge, but I mean,
Bridge would be safer.
it will be safer. But
Please
not
don't
as
drown before I can get you married.
Ooh,
None of it's going to drown. Like,
GM, can I give you a resolve token to make something happen in the story?
Oh, sorry. You can just use a resolve token to make something happen in the story.
I want to use a resolve token that unknowingly to Veleno, the Marchioness, sees the duel occur.
Oh, yeah. Then, in fact, you would be giving the Marchioness a resolve token, and I accept.
Awesome. I think it's better if she's there and he doesn't even know.
Oh, yeah. That's a good question. Is this a sword fight? Is this a pistol fight?
Sword,
I feel
not
like
pistols.
swords.
Pistols,
Oh, yeah, because they're
someone
not
died.
actually trying to kill each other. They're just
Pistols
trying
are for women. Men can't use pistols. They don't know how
That's
they work.
true.
It's
Absolutely,
true. Pistols
yeah,
are
yeah.
for women.
I did.
I would also like to spend a resolve token to say that Lady Iphis is riding by and also sees this.
Okay.
Good lord.
I think
Because I want horses in this story, so I'm going to
we
be
gotta
riding.
have horses. Yeah.
Gotta have
Oh
horses.
no, I've never
maybe-
met you.
Maybe we can jump into that later, and have that kind of happen later in the scene. And I actually think that yes, as pistols are for women, and this is sword. I imagine that like sword play is the like needlework of the matriarchy, you know.
Give them something to do.
So I
Stab
imagine
each
that
other?
It's like we
I
taught them
imagine-
to they may as well learn how to fence.
Yeah, I imagine these are actually like blunted swords, so it's really just about like who wins and not about hurting each other or whatever. It's really just like a battle of ego rather than actual bloodshed and pain.
That's fair.
I'll see you later,
Yeah,
Lady Iphis.
I don't want to kill the old man.
Oh,
So I guess
pistols a dog, bitch.
the other question is, what is actually no? Let's just set up the scene, and we'll just set it up with Velano and Joseph meeting. What time of day is it? Is it like morning and there's like mist on the river, or is it like high noon and it's hot and sunny?
I do like mists.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right. Show us the scene.
I guess like we're meeting on opposite sides of the bridge, or what do you got? What do you got, Gabe?
I feel like you'd probably already be there waiting for me, and I arrived probably a few minutes late. The top of my lapel is probably like unbuttoned a little bit, and this is probably at the point where I actually have my bag of stuff with me, and I just put it down at the side, which seems a little weird that I have this large bag, but
yeah, yeah. I don't think Joseph will comment on that. He has the rapiers because you're the one who challenged, and he's the one who prepared. So I think he just sees Velno and kind of like just tosses one of the rapiers to you and just says like, bit late there, young sport. Overconfidence is gonna get you someday.
I wanted to give you ample time to rest, old badger.
You'll find that rest will do you well in your later years, provided you even reach those, Mr. Shibura.
Well then, let's hope you don't trip this time. And I'll take stance.
All right. And now we're going to smash cut to something else. I want to the only new connection we haven't heard from yet is Henry. So I would like to have a scene between Henry and Lady Iphis, maybe I guess in the morning as she is kind of starting her day and planning her day.
I can see in the morning after a ball, she probably have come down like, not very early to breakfast, but I imagine she would have been met with like a little note saying that Bertie is going to be dining in his own rooms in the morning. So she's kind of like, she walks in, she completely bypasses the breakfast table and just walks over to one of those gloriously wing-back chairs next to a massive fireplace that they have in every Regency movie. With the wing back like turn so that when you walk in, you never see the person sitting in front of the fire. You only like see an arm and a letter.
Yeah, absolutely.
So she collapses into the chair and reads over the tiny note. It's probably maybe 2 sentences at most, if that, and just keeps reading it over and over, and is just kind of slumped in the seat because she's quite realizing how badly things have gone in the aftermath, and is struggling to kind of figure out where to go from here, and is just a bit despondent and Mrs. Bennett about it all, except without the hysterics.
Yeah, so as this scene is happening, I think Henry kind of comes up behind you, like behind the chair, and says, would you like some tea, my lady? Should I have some made?
I don't think I have the stomach for it, Armitage. Not this morning. Not quite because of the indulgences of last night, which is something of a surprise.
Yes, you seem to be more sober than usual.
It was a sobering evening.
I suppose he was there.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
bottling.
buttling. Yeah, he says, yes, a lot of things happened, dear. Mr. Vimes is quite out of sorts.
Right. You did make sure to take him a good breakfast, I hope. Poor boy doesn't eat enough as it is.
Well, yes, I made sure. And I imagine, like, after a ball, there's usually, like, you know, a nice big hangover breakfast that is served that nobody is eating because everybody is sad. So, well, I don't know. I don't know if Bertie is eating it, but certainly. He goes, I sent the usual breakfast and I added an extra rasher of bacon.
Thank you, Armitage. I rather think I've put the cat among the pigeons there. He didn't say anything to anyone when he declined breakfast in the common quarters. She kind of like looks up at, where he's looming over the back of the chair, kind of like, hopefully.
That's a question for Leandro. How's Birdie? Give us a 2-second Birdie model.
Oh, a connection's allowed to monologue now?
No, just like, what's Birdie's emotional state this morning?
He's a bit better, but only because he has pie with him. That's about it.
Pie solves everything. He is to be as to be expected, madam.
That was not how I expected the evening to go.
I don't think anybody expected the evening to go that way.
Remind me to take some shillings out of the doorman's wages. I mean, really, if we can't keep the riffraff out of our... No, ignore that. Don't. It's not their fault, I suppose.
She was perfectly within her rights to come, and you know that.
She was escorted. She was not invited. I thought she would have known better.
I thought you would have known better, my lady.
It's very cruel, Armitage, but I suppose I can see your point. It would have been fine with a little more time. I don't do well with surprises. Can't prepare for them.
Was it a surprise on purpose, or was it a surprise because you were unwilling to hear her otherwise?
I would have been perfectly willing to hear her out once I had invited her to tea.
And when would have that happened, madam?
Eventually. No, I suppose you're quite right. Works in mysterious ways after all, and I can't control everything, can I?
It would do you well to learn that finally.
If I did, a great many things would be a great deal simpler.
Are you sure I cannot convince you to eat the breakfast that our staff prepared for you?
You're very sweet, but I'm afraid I couldn't keep it down. Some things
you say
just...
you say that every morning, and every morning it stays down.
But every morning I am speaking of my own excesses, which, after a moment, I'm quite happy to ignore. I rather think this goes beyond an overindulgence.
Ifis, you need to eat.
All right. You can stop mother henning me, and she will get up and walk over to the table, but she will make sure to kind of wait until she's sure that he's following her. Like, he can't sit down and he can't walk to the table with her, but she can make sure he's only a step behind.
Yeah. Let's smash cut back to the duel. I really want to use. I wish I had thought of this, and I really want to throw in the meeting sword to sword rules from The King is Dead. Wait, can I?
Okay, the hottest minigame.
I was gonna say, I think I've got them somewhere. Hold on.
I have them. King is dead. Where are you?
How graceful is Joseph?
He wishes he was more graceful.
At some point, Veleno would probably try to hop onto the arm of the bridge just to show off because he's an idiot.
Actually, can we roll back a bit? I think Joseph has an opening line before.
Give it to me. Yeah, give me that opening line.
Yeah, you open a stance, and I think Joseph's just kind of unsheathing the rapier, and he says Mr. Shibur, I believe you quite, well, some would say handily won our first duel, so why beg for another? What is this you fight for, Mr. Shibur? And he takes a stance.
I fight to protect her reputation.
Oh, no.
Shakes.
Yeah, I think Joseph will sigh at that and just youth, and then recommence.
I love this. Just total non-sequitur. It's like you challenge me in the middle of a ball. I don't know who's her. Oh my god, I love it.
Exactly. Yeah, who's her?
Very not specific.
Is this a French thing? I don't get it. I love it so much.
Doom in France?
He's so French. I love it so much.
All right, I love that. I wanna jump over to the next scene, but there is a Google. In our group chat, I threw a link to the questions for Meeting Sword to Sword. We don't actually have to play Meeting Sword to Sword, but just as ideas for our next moments. Charlie, do you have a quick scene you want to do?
I think I would like a scene between Annabelle and Susanna when she arrives.
Okay.
In which Annabelle can kind of update Susanna on life and how terrible this news is and how terrible everything is. Because that's what you do when your friends arrive. You have a good old witch.
Have you invited her to stay with you, or is she staying somewhere else?
I think she would have been invited to stay at Annabelle's.
All right. So she, I guess, arrives that morning. If we're just jumping from morning to morning to morning, she arrives that morning shortly after breakfast, and after everything has been settled, you're in, I guess, whatever, the smoking room. Does Annabelle smoke?
No, she doesn't.
No.
But I imagine she does have one of those classic gentleman's offices, which is full of books that are never going to get read. They're just there because they look real good.
Yeah.
And she'll have a giant table in the middle, which is a map of Europe. And you can see little toy soldiers where she tracking the armies as best she can. It's like that sort of setup in there. Even though like she has no idea what's actually going on in Europe right now. She's just trying to make educated guesses based on the news that arrives.
Yeah, so Susanna kind of comes in and or is let in and knocks on the door frame. Major.
Captain, I trust you find your accommodation a step up from the barracks we last stayed in.
Oh yes, much less leaky.
Yes. And like the eyes go up to the ceiling, and then she goes back down to the table and kind of uses the little soldier pusher to push a little army unit across the table. It would appear the front is advancing.
Yes, but actually, and she corrects a movement. It looks more like this right now. Are they on first name basis, despite the class different?
I think so.
I
think it was one of those like late nights in a rainy tent. Let's have one last drink before we go over the top type situations.
Okay, Annabelle, what have you done?
I lost my temper.
Over what? Over a peer?
Over a friend. Thought she was a friend. We ran around her garden together. I fought an imaginary garden at an imaginary dragon at the bottom of her garden once.
Oh. Sounds fascinating.
She scored me very well.
Does this have to do with that young man you were telling me about?
I suppose the long and the short of it is, yes, it does. I rather thought coming here, things would be easier. But it's not. It's more of a war zone than where we left. They don't play by the rules here. And she called me girl 4 times. I'm a major in the army.
She's a peer and she thinks she's above everyone.
Yes, well, she grazes her knee like everyone else when she goes tumbling down the garden path.
Perhaps you should publish the adventures of the Countess of Denby's dragon slaying past. Maybe that will knock her down a peg.
I doubt it. I fear she'd rather enjoy it. She has a twisted sense of humor. Which brings me to Bertie.
Yes. Why did you? Does Susanna know about Veleno, or is that a secret
I think
that you kind of...
Susanna does know. I think Annabelle in that drunken night in the tent was like, I gotta marry this guy, and it's just, it would be bad for both of us. And there's this other guy that I like, and I don't know what to do. I'd just rather wage war all the time. It's so much easier.
Annabelle the Frenchman, the new one who is causing all these waves, is he yours?
Yes. Yes, he is.
Oh my goodness. And you broke off the engagement with this Bertie over a Frenchman you had just met in a ditch.
It was a very lovely ditch. But no, I did not break up my engagement with Bertie over a Frenchman in a ditch. Bertie is not a fit husband for a major. Bertie is a fit husband for a baroness or someone who does soft things like accounting. You know, pores over books and sits still all the time. So Bertie knows where to find her. Would have made him miserable. And he would have made me miserable.
Then why did you
We're in
accept
England,
the-
there's enough miserable.
Then why did you accept the engagement in the first place, dear?
She has a way of taking perfectly illogical conclusion and convincing you that it's the only path. I cannot describe how it happened or why exactly I followed her logic. But I did, and then all of a sudden it was happening, and we were at dinner, and there were glasses being clinked, and it was announced, and I would rather face one of those cannons than sit at that table again and face everyone looking at me as it's announced that I'm marrying Bertie, and then looking at Bertie and he's looking at me, and it's all hopeful and terrible all at once.
Well, you seem to be facing those cannons again.
I was not surprised you heard that news. You're coming.
Yes, I made sure of it. I didn't think that you could... Didn't think anybody else could handle you.
In part, I agree to it because it's what the family expects, isn't it? You settle down, you marry someone, you live a terribly boring life. I don't want a terribly boring life, Susanna.
Major, you know we fight wars so that one day there will be peace. You cannot always be at war.
That's the ridiculous thing of it. I went there to make peace. Just ended up making things worse.
I think she says you went there to make peace and you ended up making love, just kind of like under her breath. I mean, unless you want to say something snarky back, I want to cut back to the duel. But
I think the
give you
fist comes down on the table and she like knocks the soldiers kind of flying. Why couldn't she just accept my apology? Damnable woman.
All right, let's go back to this duel for a second.
And as the soldiers tumble, we crossfade to Veleno and Joseph York facing off.
Oh yeah, it's one of those like zoom into the soldiers and then they turn into Veleno and Joseph.
Right.
It's like, oh.
So how do these? I'm looking at the things now. Give me a Spark Notes version of the sword to sword.
Well, basically, we keep asking. We take turns asking the questions. The other person answers. After the third question's been asked, then we can go to closing questions. That's kind of like the quick and dirty pitch for meeting sword to sword.
Pretty much. Just ask each other those questions. And you can, have some you can have discussion in between as well. And we don't actually have to play swords.
Yeah, we can embellish
but...
what it means to hammer into your guard or catch your wrist in my hand and draw you close to me. Yeah, this game is like probably the of all the mini games in King's Dead.
So I pretend to falter and lower my guard. Do I draw you out, or do you recognize deploy and hold steady?
Ooh, what does that look like? Like, what's Veleno doing?
So basically, it's after a strike. I take almost like a faltering step, but I'm actually putting my foot back to brace myself, and I'm raising like this. So if you come in, it'd be like trying to step to the side and then push myself forward.
Ooh, yeah. I think what you said, which is protecting her reputation, has annoyed Joseph enough to he will be drawn out by that. And I think he's almost monologuing as he's fighting. He's saying Mr. Shibur, I had hoped to bring you low through more subtle means, but it seems you're far too impatient for that, as I very impatiently lunge forward and get drawn out by your ploy. So what is your response when I get drawn out?
Seize momentum and initiative and drive you backwards. So instead of actually striking for the sword, I'd probably actually go for a shove instead to like try to hit you in the chest. Partially to show that I don't even have to touch you with my blade. I can use my physical form instead. And
Wow.
with the shove, it probably I'd say something along the lines of, "I apologize that it has come to this, Joseph. I've already been brought lower than you could ever do." Take a stand again.
Yeah. You'd be surprised how low one can be brought when trying to protect someone's reputation, Mr. Shiver. And I hammer into your guard and you barely hold it. I think Joseph's properly like angry now. Like, how dare this boy just like think he can just like proclaim things and make them come true. So I hammer into your guard and you barely hold it. A fraction less and you'd been at least, well, not laid open, but like cut open. Does it fire you or chill you?
Probably fires. He's distracted now. Now he's, instead of thinking about the duel, he's thinking about, is this what a proper Englishman is like? Because I'll never be anything like Joseph.
Nice. Yeah, so Joseph is like, he is like on full offensive. Like he's not letting you do a drawing out. He's just like full on wham wham. And I think this is where you do the jump on the guardrail.
Yep.
Verno is, yeah. Verno is showing off that he is way more graceful for sure. He's 10 years younger for one thing. So
is this what a proper Englishman is like? It's not a surprise I didn't fit in here then. Excuse me, am I fighting well enough?
Wow! Oh my god! Oh my god!
That is not what my British accent sounds like at all. I've spent much time practicing it. I want to make that very clear.
Oh, but it does properly sound like a Frenchman trying to do an English. Well, it is your turn to ask a question if you want to keep. Oh my god.
We talk swords and your mouth is near my ear. What do you say?
Oh wow, this is proper warm.
Hi, Lauren.
Oh god, oh my god. My mouth is near your ear. That's I think we lock swords, and when I'm close, Joseph kind of like he's breathing hard, and he says like, "Do you even know if she cares that you're here?" And Joseph pushes you kind of like away after you lock swords, and I think there's like a lull. And I don't know, we can keep going, or this sounds like I don't know, what does Bellum look like?
No, this is like a really good moment because I would like to spend one of the Marchioness's resolve tokens to be like riding towards the bridge that you're fighting on, and like, you know, is at like a pretty quick trot, and then kind of has to like pull her back, and she says, "Excuse me, is it normal for you Englishmen to fight in the middle of the road? Velino, is that you?"
I drop the rapier. And quietly under my breath, but loud enough for Joseph to hear, "The one that I care for, who knows?" Yes, mon Jeanette, mon chéri. It has been so long since I've seen you. And Joseph, you probably noticed that, like, with a hand behind his back, Valeno's hand is actually shaking a little bit.
And I think
Go ahead.
no. Actually, no. Keep going. Actually,
Oh,
my-
she says, I didn't see you this morning when I thought you might, and so I thought I'd come pick you up at Laurent's wife's place.
I was actually on my way to come see you, my dear. I have everything there. I just came across this lovely gentleman who was giving me a true lesson in English swordplay. That is all.
Yes, he's learned quite well.
It's Sir Joseph. It has truly been your victory, both in physicality and emotion. And I go grab my stuff.
Well, we want to have the Lady Ifis come in. So I think the Marchioness jumps off of her horse and offers her hand to Joseph, not to shake, but to like kiss. I am the Marchioness. I forget my name already. Marchioness Adelaide Cosette. Enchantée.
I think Joseph, being like a proper socialite, will like kiss her hand, but in a gentleman's way, for sure. Like looks proper. Just not. I don't think Velna will see anything untoward. And I think Joseph's just like, a pleasure to make your acquaintance, Marchioness.
Are you?
My name is.
Oh no, sorry. You're saying your name.
Yeah, my name is Joseph York. I am but a humble Englishman, and I merely sought to educate our dear Mr. Chauffeur on the ways that England works, and I believe he's taken to the lessons quite well.
I see your work with the sword is quite impressive. Are you good friends with my dear Valeno here?
Yes, quite. He has given me a sense of English understanding that I had not had before. I am but a Frenchman, Joseph. You are very correct on that.
I'm being stabbed by this tech. I didn't think that was possible.
But being a Frenchman is a wonderful thing. I do miss you. Provence is not nearly as nice without you there. And I think as this scene is happening, we can. When do you want to entered from the opposite side, Ifis? Do you want to have seen some of the fight?
Oh yeah, I want to have seen some of the fight. Because I would like to, I don't know if I would spend a resolve token. I kind of want this to be accidentally on Lady Ifis's land.
Oh yeah, totally.
Like
totally,
around
yeah.
the fringes, but like, because a lot of highways and byways would actually be through other people's country. So I kind of wanted to have seen like swords flashing and be galloping across the field to put a stop to this, because there's no seconds, there's no chaperones. What are you doing, gentlemen? And when she sees there's someone else there, she'll kind of rein in a bit, but she's still cantering over, like, I need to sort this. What is going on?
Yeah, so absolutely. Spend that resolve token to have it happen on your land for sure. Yeah. Do we know each other, the Marchioness and? If I'm acquainted with the Queen, then maybe.
Possibly. It might be a case of knowing each other's names, but I don't know how often the Marchioness would be in court, although she is a favorite. But Ifis doesn't actually go to court as often as a lot of other peerage. She prefers to stay in her country seat and kind of make nice with royalty from far away, because they expect things of her that she's not really, not interested. So I'm just going to stay where I have all of the power and not just some of the power. So she doesn't often go to town unless it's a matter of business or, an important thing. So I think she might have seen the Marchioness, but they have not been introduced. They might know each other's names, but they haven't been introduced.
All right. In that case, the Marchioness will be like, yes, hello. Is there something wrong?
That very much depends. I was just curious as to how these two fine gentlemen, hello, Mr. York.
I hide my face from her.
And Mr. Chivot, how these fine gentlemen came to be crossing swords on my property without seconds or a physician present, or any of the rather important rules of combat among
as a Frenchman,
civilized folk.
I've not been fully enlightened as a Frenchman. That is my mistake.
Well, can't hold that
physicians for. Do we really need physicians for all these fake swords? This isn't even a real battle. Are you Englishmen really that fragile?
Yes, lady, I feel
So chuckle.
Wow.
Well, you see, I don't know how they do things on the continent, but here we take rather good care of our people.
I look at Joseph up and down.
Like, Iphis is like slowly just like just kind of like sidestepping her horse until like she's trying to get between the Marchioness and everyone else, because French peerage is not her peerage. There's something. So she's kind of getting the horse between the two gentlemen and kind of just focusing on the Marchioness, because she's, the threat. Not what I mean, but kind of what I mean.
Please, Lady Iphis, rest assured that we were having no more than just a fine display. And I think under his breath, Joseph's like, after all, this isn't the first jewel you've seen me have in your grounds.
No, but normally you're sparring against me, dear. Now, I can't imagine why you two gentlemen would like to take these outdoor pursuits so far from the comforts of my home. After all, Monsieur Chevaux, you were invited to high tea today, I believe. Unless my servant was waylaid.
Oh, well, Velena was going to come stay with me.
And
you didn't tell me you had an appointment.
Well, mon chéri, it's because I am a Frenchman that it is very hard for me to try to assert which I have to do, and I have so much history with Marchioness. It would be even more rude for me to decline her favor, you see.
Well, you see, in our country, my dear Monsieur Chevaux, it's rather the first person who is invited. And of course, we are so close to my home as to her. And I would be delighted to educate you on the ways and mores of English society, as you seem to be so lacking in knowledge of them. And of course, the Marchioness is of course invited, should she wish.
Oh, yes, of course. And I think what she's going to do is get back on her horse, but like sit a little further back on the saddle and offer her hand to Veleno. Because
take it.
Yeah.
And oh no, immediately Iphis is like, oh my dear, I'm afraid I must protest. I don't know how one does things on the continent, but here that would be quite a disgrace. I simply couldn't allow it.
Oh, well,
I mean propriety in all things, my lady.
Well,
I'm sure the Queen would agree. She is so fond of propriety.
Perhaps, but I do believe I outrank you, so you cannot disallow me to do anything.
In your country.
And she just rides away.
Yes!
Lady Ifa's like she's been out for a ride. She doesn't go out. You can see her hand move to her pistol, and she's just staring after them, with just like gripping the handle of her pistol.
I spend a resolve token to have heard there was a duel happening and Veleno involved, and so I've rushed out here to see it, and I arrive just as Veleno is leaving with the Marchioness, and Lady Ifis is there with like hand on pistol, but Annabelle stops like 10 feet back and is like,
Then you would very clearly hear the Lady Ifis say very clearly to Joseph, "Damn Frenchman." And she means Veleno because she can't really say anything against the Marchioness, but she's like, she cannot believe that he took her hand. It's like, oh. Mm.
Can I spend another token? Sorry. To see Major. No, this is just a clarification thing. To see Major Fallow and kind of like realize, that's that she. And see Veleno riding away. Just like kind of realize that.
Yeah.
Wow, I love that. Yeah. I mean, I think that's a great token to spend, and I think at this point we will end the novel chapter and we will take a 5-minute break and head into reputation, but I mean, there's a lot going on. I think we all need to process what just happened.
Wow. We do. So we will go for a 5-minute break. I will hop over into the tunnel and I will be there to answer any questions that anyone in chat has about what we're playing today, about my general feelings, about what just happened. Thank you all so much for being here. We will be back in about 5 minutes. Take care. Have a stretch. See you in a sec.
In that, does anybody need the link to the Google Drive with all the stuff?
No, I have not.
Okay. So you want to assess your family sheets to look at your reputation criteria and see if any of those apply to you. I know already there is a negative tag for Lady Ifis.
Yep, I figured there would be.
And it's not what you think, but Lady Ifis, you allowed others of lesser rank to talk down to you.
When?
You let your butler just...
No. He wasn't talking down to me. He was treating me as an equal. That's different.
Oh.
He wasn't talking down to me. He was very nice.
I can buy that.
Yeah.
We won't give you that.
Don't besmirch Henry. He was very kind.
He did use your first name. Which,
yeah, but I think that puts us on equal footing rather than him putting himself above me.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I don't think he was talking down to me. I think he was talking sense into me.
That's true. Okay, I'll buy that.
So being in a duel was probably. Oh, sorry. No, keep going.
I was going to say that speaking with Henry made me think of a positive tag, because I think Ifis made a sacrifice or denied your desires to uphold the superiority of your rank. She absolutely wants to be more familiar with Henry, but she has to call him Armitage, and she has to treat him like a servant, because she can't not. Because if she crosses that line, she can't uncross it.
I think she definitely like wanted to give him a hug or something, and then
she wanted to do more than that.
Like...
yes. A hug for starters, yes. She wants to call him by his first name. Oh.
So sad. All right, so what is that tag then?
Try to think of an adjective for that. I don't know, conscious of rank? I don't know how one...
Yeah, I don't know. We can think on that a little bit. Anybody else?
Proper work.
Proper. Yeah, proper.
Because she was upholding propriety.
Yes. Perfect. Anybody else think they earned any tags?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Like, being in a duel is like acting in an uncouth, low-class, or vulgar manner. But I was challenged. That was...
Yeah, and also we kind of established that like sword fights and duels and stuff were something that was done.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So...
Yeah. As far as I'm concerned, I acted as a gentleman throughout that entire affair.
Yeah.
The taunting aside.
Yeah.
I'm in the same. I don't really think anything changed per se.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people like did very reputation-y things that I can really think of this time around. Which is
Veleno got onto the back of someone's horse without chaperone who was married. It's very unseemly. But
yes,
only we saw
actually,
it, so I don't know if it would...
Home.
I'm wondering if you well, no, you didn't make a sacrifice or deny your own desires to uphold the values of your place of origin. And I don't think you acted in a way that would shame or embarrass France.
Me neither. Sadly.
So I think we're okay with that. Because that was the only thing that I was thinking. But that's okay, because you know what? We had like a really reputation-heavy last reputation phase, so it's okay if this reputation phase is chill. The other thing that we are doing is we have some reputation conditions to remove. So we are removing the foolish tag. So I'm just gonna put arrogant there and have it not crossed out. But that means that the fracture condition is gone.
Yes.
So Cecile is talking to you again. You are once again welcome back in the house. I think like being invited to stay with the Marchioness probably like puts Cecile like, oh god, he's staying with the Queen's favorite. Like, I can't just be like, I kicked him out of my house, you know, like so
that's funny. I love that.
So I think, yeah, you get a letter back that's just kind of, or like a quick note that is like, you know, enjoy your stay. You are welcome to return to our home when you are ready to come back.
Delightful.
Like in a very, you know, kind of like cordial way that is like, I would, you know, like I was probably too harsh
It's okay. I get it. I'm the worst.
Yeah. So yeah. What else? We are also getting rid of the men behaved themselves, I guess.
Yeah, the two men who had a duel over petty concern.
You also lose your fracture. So Judith is speaking to you again. And I think we'll kind of see how that plays in the next little bit. I'm thinking maybe in the epistolary phase, because we haven't seen her yet. It might be fun to see her a little more. But yeah, so that's that. And now we will go back into an epistolary phase. Then we will do the last novel chapter of the game. And then the final epistolary phase will be an epilogue. So we have 2 phases to wrap things up.
There we go.
So if you don't think you need 2 letters, you don't have to write 2, like you don't have to kind of rack your brain if we want to spend more time resolving things in the novel chapter. But if you still have 2 letters to write, go ahead and write them. I will start with a letter from Judith. That's essentially because you won the duel. And I think there was probably some talk about, the Marchioness and Veleno and all of that. And so Judith writes a letter to Joseph and says, "Dear Joseph, I hear you won the duel. Good. I don't know if I could bear to see you lose against a Frenchman again. Please don't think that I look down on you or your actions. I just worry for you. And I want you to be happy because you have not been happy in the past. Please let me know if there is anything that I can do to secure your happiness. Your loving sister, Judith."
Well, it was really quiet. So I'm going to write a letter. And it's going to be right to Annabelle from Veleno. And what is Annabelle's title? Annabelle is Major. Dear Major, I know that you have necessities in life that you must take care of. And I know that having too many complications will make achieving your goals difficult. As with all of England, you deserve nothing but happiness and calm joy. I am not an Englishman, and I am very aware. If you need peace to truly have peace, you may have it. And then it's signed Monsieur Chivor.
I have a letter from. Oh, sorry.
No, you go.
Okay. It says a letter from Joseph to Lady Ifis, and it just says to Lady Ifis. Do you remember the time when I when I declared that the Earl of Lucan, I would rather see the Earl of Lucan in a tannery than to be dining at your table once more, and challenged him to a marathon of duels in that halcyon summer of, well, I guess it didn't matter, only that it happened in that halcyon summer. And soon after that, well, you took it upon me to show that my dueling skills were lacking in many regards. I do appreciate the lessons, but I do believe that the same fervor has gripped our dear Mr. Chivur. I do believe that that fervor directs him towards one Major Annabelle Fallow. I'll give a token to anyone to make this explicit to Lady Ifis. So that's okay, because this is kind of big, I guess.
I mean, you already. Okay, Charlie, do you think that this requires a token? Because he already spent a token to know.
I didn't think so.
Yeah.
I think
just
it's
a question of.
I think we've known each other for long enough that even if he didn't like explicitly write down like, you know, Villano, Hart, Annabelle, I could probably read between the lines and pick up on who he's talking about if he wasn't explicit, because we've known each other for so long.
Yeah, and Joseph wouldn't be explicit with anyone besides Lady Ifis for sure. So yeah, one major Annabelle Fallow. You're probably disinclined to either of them given recent events, but let's be honest, were we not so different back at their age? Were we not caught up in some ridiculous frenzy that just seemed so heedless and... Well, I trust you'd remember what it was like back then. So I would not hold it against them to be so uncouth. So I guess I'm writing to express that it was nice to be able to talk to you once more in a frequent manner. And the promise you made, well, if you wish to forget it you can, but do not do it on Mr. Chivur's account. He is simply young and foolish. I believe you know that feeling quite well. Yours, Joseph.
I know exactly what letters I'm going to write now. After a good long time reading the letter and kind of positioning the letter so that Armitage can read the letter over her shoulder without looking like he's reading the letter, she will then put it to one side and take out 2 sheets of paper and look at them for a while, and then we'll write one very carefully penned invitation again to Villano Chivur to invite him for tea at 4 o'clock at her home, and there will be all kinds of pleasantries. She'll make it really, really hard to refuse without looking really bad. I will very carefully set it to one side, and then we'll sit down to pen a letter to Major Annabelle. My friend, although I have lost the right, I understand that a letter from me cannot be the most welcome sight to your eyes. However, I hope that you will do me the indulgence of reading to the end. My actions of the previous nights were not that of a lady. I admit that. I admit that I was hasty and proud when I received you in my home. I was hurt by your actions. I won't deny it. But I could not see how hurt you were and how hurt Bertie has been by my inability to accept that those actions were never meant to be. I should have looked at the situation with an eye to your particulars and not to the particulars of society. Those particulars I think you know I have long rejected. I should have trusted you, my friend. I should have known you better. I did not, and that is my failing. I hope you understand that I wish to make amends, however much I can. I accept whatever apology you wish to make to me that I did not allow you to, and I extend one of my own. My actions have been immature and unbecoming. It's not the first time they have been so, and I dare say it will not be the last, but I crave your indulgence on the strength of an old friendship. If you would be so kind, I would like to invite you to tea at my house at 3 o'clock today, where I hope we can discuss renewing old bonds and burying old pain. And it will just say yours, Iphis.
To Monsieur
Those coincidences.
I accept the implication of your letter and bid you well in your life with the Marchioness. May you enjoy the liberty and delight that French seek and enjoy, and know that I hold no ill will. I wish that many things in life had been altered, but the path before us perhaps does now split. I have accepted a commission and will be shortly leaving England. With kindness, Major Annabelle Fowler. And she'll write a short note back to the Countess Denby. I shall bring the cakes that you like, Major Annabelle Fowler.
I have a resolve token for Joseph. So I don't know if we ever talked about the York parents, but I am going to say that they are not around, and that therefore Judith has, or I would like to say that Judith has the right essentially to approve of your marriage.
Yeah, like in mechanical terms, she's the cornerstone, and she got that reputation and makes her head of the household.
Yeah, like they can't. I mean, like, you're not a minor, so you can marry whoever you want. But like technically,
yeah. She's head of the business anyway, so yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so like she won't. You can't marry without her approval, or you'll be cut off.
Well, okay, that helps clarify this letter I was going to write to her then. So
perfect. All right, so I'm going to yeah, you can go ahead and have that resolve token. Judith is going to write another letter to Lady Caroline. Dear Caroline, or dear Lady Caroline, I understand that this proposal might stick. And I would like to remind you that I am the one you need to impress. And I will not allow my brother to get married unless I have every certainty that he will be happy in this arrangement. As such, I would like you to come and speak with me about this matter properly at your earliest convenience. Judith York, Esquire, or whatever. I don't know. I don't think she's a lawyer, but like has all of her, you know.
She is now one of her many accomplishments.
It has like all of her degrees, like her full her full
BSc,
thing.
SSc, bronze
OBE.
swimming certificate,
Yeah.
silver swimming certificate.
Yeah.
LLC.
Yeah.
PDF. Wait.
GOAT.
Actually, I think that
So
kind
I'm
of
gonna-
covers what I. Oh,
Good.
no, I was gonna say that kind of covers what I wanted to write, so I'm fine for now.
Oh.
But yeah, go ahead, Gabe.
All right.
I was gonna send my last letter.
Go ahead.
Go for it.
And it's to Annabelle. And I want to give Charlie a resolve token to say that his nickname for her is Turtle Dove. And so it starts the letter with Dearest Turtle Dove. I have not done everything that I had wanted to do, but things that I thought were best for you. I don't care if this letter is not becoming of an Englishman, because I am no Englishman. You have said before that you were in love with me, and I do not need to marry you to continue that love. If you leave and you want me, I am there, and I will find you. Laurent. Oh, not Laurent, Villanelle. Holy Jesus. Yes, that's it.
That would be one hell of a confusing letter.
yes, Villanelle. It's with all that I am, Villanelle. Screw your English standards.
I would like to offer Gabe a resolve token that Annabelle doesn't receive the letter. I could yes.
Look, it's fine. They're gonna have tea. It's just gonna make it more dramatic.
No,
because
but at different times.
I swear to God, I will get you in the library and lock all the doors.
You're muted, Lauren.
I mean, it's just an hour apart. Tea is much longer than an hour.
That's true.
It's up to you, though, Gabe.
No, you know what? Let's do it. Let's break all their hearts. That's fine. I just want to point out this was Charlie's fault.
Charlie!
Gabe tried to make it happen.
No.
Charlie
I
did.
love
Do
this.
this to me.
I love this because I think what's happening is correct me if I'm wrong, Charlie, but you're setting up this big dramatic reveal in the novel chapter where
it's like a classic missed communication moment, right? Where they pass each other in the night on the road only to collide later.
Yeah, absolutely.
Tell her this to her face.
Okay,
In the rain.
I recant my shouting. Okay. I recant.
But also my fucking heart, Gabe. How could you?
All right. Is that everybody's letters? Perfect. So this is it. This is our last novel chapter. I think the best way to do this is just have a bunch of visitations or kind of any scenes people want to play out to resolve things. We got like an hour, so I think yes about that. Yeah. So
we can go as long as we want.
So yeah, let's
I have a scene I would like to propose. Maybe it's more of a montage, but it's Annabelle's cottage being packed up as she's kind of preparing the things that she needs to kind of leave. You pack up your country house and you go away.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
the dust sheets are coming down and things are being shifted around.
I think before we decide, like we go into those scenes, let's figure out what scenes we want to play out just so we can have a little bit more of a, but I love that scene and I think we should have it. And I think it's like a good starting place. But what else do we want to see? So I think ending with tea. How do we feel about ending with tea?
Yeah, let's go.
Tea time with Annabelle, and then tea time with Valeno, and then me just like smashing their heads together like Barbie dolls.
Mm-hmm.
Well, not literally, but you know.
I'd like to see Veleno get to have one more conversation with Joseph.
Okay.
Even if it's on the way to tea time, because they can't stay there long.
Oh, yeah.
Could we just because I'm Shakespearean and I like when everyone gets together for stuff at the end. Could I spend resolve tokens to say that I have invited Joseph and Caroline as well, but after
All right.
Velano. Like,
Yeah.
like 5 o'clock.
Oh my God. No, okay. You know what we need to do is that this is just a picnic now.
Yeah.
That everybody's invited to, I think. This is, and then we can.
But staggered invitations. So that I can, because I'm plotting.
Okay, you just want staggered invitations? Is that better than just like have, okay. Okay,
Yeah,
I like that.
Hoping Annabelle turns up first so they can make amends and she can lay the ground, and then Velano appears and it's a wonderful coincidence. Oh, I completely forgot I'd invited you. Sit here next to Annabelle.
Oh yeah, this is good. This is very
she has
meddler
plans.
of you.
Yes.
Yeah, this is very true to her meddler. Okay, so we got cottage being packed up. We got so much tea. So 3 p.m. is.
I would
Go
like
ahead.
a scene between Bertie and Villano.
That was my. That was, yeah.
A ton of stuff at the ball, and like a lot of stuff has been going on around him. And I would love to just see Villano and Bertie have a conversation, because Villano knows who Bertie is by now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, that was one of 2 scenes that I only wanted. I wanted, Bertie and Villano, and a conversation between Caroline and Joseph. That was the only 2 things I had.
Do we want this Oh, sorry, I'm kicking things. Do we want this Caroline and Joseph scene like before, or like included with tea, or like on the way to tea maybe?
On the way to tea was I was thinking, yeah.
Okay.
And it's just something to tie that off, to tie that up.
All right. Do we want a scene with Bertie and Rebecca? Do we want to like have that meet cute? And even if we don't have them fall in love, we just have them meet cute. We did want Bertie happy.
Yeah. I would like a scene where I make amends with Bertie, but he can just come to tea. I mean, he lives here.
Oh, that's actually like, let's just have, I think that's kind of nice to have like a dramatic moment where like maybe Rebecca comes to tea with Annabelle, and we can have the like Bertie appears in the room and we know it's okay now.
Everything's happening at the Denby estate. What's good?
Mm-hmm.
So I think
the Ifis effect.
Yeah.
It's Ifis planned this meticulously to make her happy ending. All right. So I think the way that this is going to go is we're going to have Annabelle packing up her cottage. Then I think it would be nice to have the Bertie and Velano scene separate from the tea shenanigans. Just because I think there's too much for that tea party to shoehorn that in.
It's a really dramatic tea party.
Then we will do. Let's say Caroline and Joe are at the 2 p.m. tea, so we can end with the happiness. So we'll do cottage. We'll do Bertie and Velano. We'll do Caroline and Joseph on the way to tea, and possibly at tea, and then we will finish up with Caroline, or with Annabelle and Velano and Ifis. So much. All right.
It's all coming together.
Let's start with this cottage being packed up. Is Susanna there?
Yes, I think Susanna and
Is Rebecca
Annabelle
there too?
Leading the organization, and I think that we see Annabelle talking to Rebecca, and the conversation topic is that Annabelle believes the Countess, Lady Icefist, will look after Rebecca's interests here, and that perhaps Annabelle has heard rumors that the Marchioness brings with her a nephew that may be of some interest. And, Annabelle's trying to kind of make up and trying to, hint, you're going to have a great time. Don't worry about it. Auntie Ifis got you.
All right. What does that look like? Or do we want to play out that scene, or do we just want to montage it?
I think we could just montage it unless Gabe wants to bring anything from Rebecca's side of things, Rebecca's opinions on any of it.
I'm fine with just montaging it. I feel like Rebecca, from just what we've said and the experience, she seems like she almost tries to stay removed from it because she looks at her aunt like she's drama, and drama isn't good for her image.
Okay.
She
So
loves
that's
you,
just
but oh,
that's just like a sad scene to start. You know, it's like maybe it's maybe tea day is a rainy day, and that's why we're having tea inside and not,
okay.
outside.
I mean, it's England.
That's the kind of scene we're setting. Where do Bertie and Bellino meet each other?
I was thinking at the foyer because I think Belno probably just got there and Bertie is on his way. Yeah, and I think Belno's probably just like waiting at the foyer, waiting for some servant to come and pick him up.
That makes
and
sense.
Bertie kind of clatters through. He looks like he's out to take a walk, even though it's raining. And he's holding a pie with him. He's got a snack with him. And and he's like, "Oh, hello. You're a guest of Lady I mean the Lady of Denby, right?"
I am. This is Drew. You are Birdie.
Yeah. Yes. That's me. Bertie Vimes, or I guess Albert.
T. Not like a tweet.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, you're Velano Chibur, right? You're the one. You were yelling as well at that. Well, I guess kind of yelling. You had a duel, right?
With Monsieur Joseph.
Oh yeah, I've heard things about him. He seems a bit of a cad.
He is someone worth respecting, I have come to see.
Well, Lady Ifis. Oh, sorry, Lady of Denby had told me stories about him. He's. Anyway, I shouldn't be talking about other people. Well, you know him better than me. I'm about to go take a walk. So.
Are you all right?
I mean,
you seem sad or nervous or something. And what is wrong with?
Well, you were there at that ball, right? And things were said about me, and well, first I was really sad, and then I remembered my mom told me that if I had pie, there's only so low you can go. So now I always have pie. But I guess it's raining. I was about to take a walk, but I guess I can't do that with the rain. So do you want? I should go back and put this back.
Monsieur
No,
hear me very closely, because I understand that my French nature is very what you know very well, but all the things people say, people telling you how to live, people telling you what to see, what to believe, just because they believe it does not mean that you have to. They can make choices for their life and make suggestions for yours, but what you do is entirely up to you.
That makes sense. That makes sense. It's just you ever get like an image, and I think at this point Birdie's like leaning close to you as if you're best friends all of a sudden. Do you ever get like sold an image and like you believe it so hard that when it doesn't happen, like it's just like the worst, you know? Like, I mean, you heard what happened, and I got sold this really great image. Like I'd be doing taxes at home, and she'd be off doing war, giving the Continentals what for. Oh, sorry, I shouldn't have said that. And Anyway, no, I'm sorry. I'm stepping over your good advice.
Monsieur
It's good.
Buddy,
It's yeah.
I have been engaged to someone that I have loved more than anything in my life. And I thought that choices I made would make it come to fruition. And it did not. I know what it is like to not even feel like you have lost your heart, but wonder if you ever really had it. But that does not mean that I have to stop. Maybe one day we will find our own happiness. And I give him like a little like tap on the chest. You are young and I assume English handsome, right? I am rooting for you, Monsieur Bertie.
Bertie is blushing. I'll just say that right now. He is full on blushing.
My favorite thing is that Bertie and Bellino are like the same age.
Yeah. Yeah. I think he'll just blush and stammer and just says like and says something along the lines of like you're really smart, Velno. Thanks. And he kind of like salutes like a pie slice to you, and then he goes off to take his walk. Then realize, oh wait, no, he should bring back the pie. And kind of like awkwardly goes toward kind of around the same direction you're meant to be going.
I'm sorry, I have to know, is this just like a 12-inch pie in a pan that he's just carrying around? Or is this like a hand pie? Is this like a slice of pie on a plate? Like what is the pie situation?
It's not a 20. He's not that bumbling. Like maybe when he was younger, he would take 12-inch with him.
Like a whole pie.
Like a pork pie. What's a 12-inch pie?
Well, like in diameter, like a round pie.
Apple pie.
Yeah.
Oh, dessert pie. Oh, okay. I was thinking something completely different.
Yeah, I wasn't
Okay.
sure if it was just like, if this was a pie in a pie plate.
I was
if this
thinking
was
like
a hand pie.
You know, like
If it was like a
like a
slice
pork-
of pie.
Sorry.
He's like a hand pie. No, it's not a 12-inch.
The great pie scandal. You heard it here first.
Yeah, Bertie may have fallen in love with Velno. I don't know.
Everyone falls in love with Velano
I
at
mean,
this point.
same, right?
That's fair. That's my boy.
Okay. I think did we decide if we were going to do the Bertie Rebecca meet cute or if we were just going to allude to that in epilogues?
It feels like we have a lot, and like
Yeah,
I want more
let's just
Bertie
do
and
that.
Gabe. I mean, Bertie and people.
All right, let's just move along then, and we'll just pretend it'll happen in our heads, and it's cute. We're shipping real people with our characters now, so that's the thing.
That's fine.
I mean, yeah, it's fine. So at 2 p.m., I literally have the schedule on a post-it note here.
Yeah.
At 2 p.m., Caroline and Joseph were headed to tea at Lady Ifis, and they meet. Are they like riding in a carriage together again, or like do they just kind of meet on the way? How does that work?
I think it's carriage. I think it looks like it's gonna stick this time, so I think they're gonna come together.
Okay.
If that's okay with you, Charlie.
I was gonna suggest on the ride up, it's very proper following that letter from Judith. Like Caroline is not in her normal mood. She's like the opposite side, like the opposite bench. Very polite, very proper.
And I think Joseph just like looks bemused at that, and then there's like an awkward silence at the start, and then he's just like, I guess my sister got in touch.
Such wonderful penmanship.
Well, she practiced on it. Hours of practice. That was a long summer. Anyway, you don't have to be worried.
How hard work pays dividends, and I did not want to be accused of ambushing you again.
Well, let's be fair. It was 35% an ambush. But I think My sister respects a certain kind of diligence. She's just worried. Don't take it too hard. She's just been looking after me for a long time, and there are times when I've not paid back that. I think Joseph just kind of like trails off for a moment. She's worried, but let me assure you, Lady Caroline, you don't have to be worried, because however you present yourself, I am behind you 100%.
I'm assured that your maths is most correct. If one will, of course, observe things properly. I grew too bold. My apologies.
I'll readily admit that, yes, there was some boldness. There was some boldness, but I think, well, given how much effort you've put into this, Lady Caroline, it seems fair that I should put some effort back. You need not have to meet my sister half-armed. I could help on that matter.
You truly wish to engage with my proposal?
I think Joseph kind of like, he was also kind of leaning back. He looks a bit bemused. This is like the most relaxed he's been. But he kind of like leans forward, and again, he there's a bit of tenseness to him, but he's a bit more relaxed, and he says like, I do, and I'm being completely honest. I think it's time. Well, part of me is still baffled as to why you're so bold and eager, but I think I'd like to find out.
And she leans forwards and kind of takes your hands in hers and almost conspiratorially says, I did what you asked regarding that foolish boy. I wrote to Lady Cecile and she had him kicked out. I didn't think it would be so easy. She has no idea that it has been made up. She thinks she's done the best thing here and like won the day.
Yeah, I think Joseph just like, well, like nearly, his eyes widen for sure. But I think he just kind of like pats her hands and says like, wow, you certainly are terribly bold. And I think that's all he can say.
Well, I had to defend your honor.
Yes, my honor has been well defended, Lady Caroline. You're. I think he is actually like proper laughing, like laughing, not like to cover up anything. I think he's just like, what the hell is happening?
And now I hear he's taken up with that Marchioness. Ooh, can you believe?
And she's now in full gossip mode. She's having the best day now.
Yeah, I think we can probably cut away from there. Like she's
most proper and a sensible match, wouldn't you say, Joseph?
Yeah, Joseph just kind of like just nods like and I think yeah, he will try to engage. He will engage, and I think it does become like a nice like back and forth.
Excuse me, so rude. Do we need to do we want to have them at tea with Lady Iphis? Do we want to resolve that relationship, or do we feel good about how all of that happened?
I would really love to see Iphis's face when Joseph reveals that he's kind of 100% on track with this engagement. Because there has been the letter, but I think seeing it in the face when your ex-boyfriend's getting married to someone else, that's me though. This is me enjoying the scandal. Give me a chick.
Honestly, she'd be delighted. Like, this is one of the reasons, like, she's invited them to tea. She's kind of like, I can tie this up and make sure this happens. Damn Judith. And just kind of like, because she wants to see him happy. And she thinks that it'll make him happy. She knows Caroline by now, and she, you know, she thinks it'll be a good match. So she'd basically the point of her inviting them to tea was basically to, make reference to a certain happy event she's sure will happen in the future. And, quietly, telling Caroline that she'd have a word with Judith, and telling Joseph that she'd let them use the barouche carriage for the wedding, and just, basically over tea kind of giving them her blessing, because she knows she can poke Judith into giving hers because rank. So she's kind of like, don't worry, I'll sort it, dears. But she wants to see them together and kind of get an eye on Joseph and make sure he's not actually just agreeing because she's rich.
Yeah, I think that's all Judith wants too. Is, if Joseph is able to convince her that this is what he really wants and that he's going to be happy, then she's fine. It's just kind of like this rich lady has come and predatorially.
Caroline is fretting over there. Like, how much should I offer? What is profit in these circumstances? I've never bought a man before. Not that I think I'm buying him. And she's having a little accountant meltdown in her brain of what's proper and what's right, and then remembering this is a human being that she actually does deeply and affectionately care for, but she's having problems with the human aspect versus the maths aspect of this.
I can so
economics.
I can so see them having a moment, maybe she lends Joseph to her fencing steward, just to improve his technique, while they watch him in the Great Hall and they're sipping tea, and she just quietly starts talking to Lady Caroline about the expected dowry of a young man these days, and how these new industry types, the nouveau riche, have changed that somewhat, and basically just telling her this is dowry. This is what you will be given. This is what you will accept. Just basically just coaching her on how to deal with the whole thing, while kind of quietly intimating that she'll make it right with Judith. Just
this is happening.
Sorry, go on.
Sorry. I was going to suggest while this is happening, when Joseph's being ferried off, that's when he and Velano can run into each other. Probably tea has gone really well that it's kind of leading into the other appointment. It sounds like it went really well.
But I've got Annabelle next, haven't I? Isn't it Annabelle at 3 and Velano at 4?
Yeah, we have Annabelle next.
Okay,
Yeah.
Annabelle's next.
We can switch them around. It makes no real difference narratively.
Yeah, let's switch them around so we can make all of that work.
Okay. So, while the ladies are off discussing Joseph's future, which sounds about right, I think probably Joseph probably knows his fencing steward, and is just no, my technique's fine, and he is just kind of wandering around this estate, kind of reminiscing about a good number of times he spent there, and probably passes by Bertie, who's off to bring the pie back to the kitchen. And we'll kind of walk to, I guess probably we'll run into Velano in some hallway. They probably see each other from other ends of a hallway, and Joseph kind of tenses a bit.
Monsieur Joseph,
Mr. Chavour, how goes the Marchioness?
I wouldn't know. She is not the her I had spoken of.
Oh, I know. How goes her then?
I did not receive a response to my last letter, so I may never know. But it is better for her. I am what is a English term for it? Baggage? And status is everything to an English woman. I must respect that.
I think Joseph grimaced at the word baggage, because that's honestly probably how he saw himself to Lady Iphis back in the day. And says if you're not done with listening to old idiots like myself, then I should tell you that anyone who considers themselves baggage to another, well argued their reasoning may be, they'll find that they'll live with nothing more than just pettiness in their hearts.
I'm walking up to him, and then I tap him on the shoulder. Monsieur Joseph, if I thought that you weren't intelligent and capable, I wouldn't have picked you for my play partner. I didn't think Englishmen could keep up, but you proved me wrong, old fox. And then I walk off.
I think Joseph was like, when he was saying all that, he was staring out the window and brooding. And when Verna does that, I think the last shot we'll get of Joseph, because I don't think we'll get any moment of him again, at least in this novel chapter. It's like he looking at Verna's retreating form and just kind of like just shaking his head. That boy's gonna be, well, not all right, but he'll be fine.
Yeah. From a badger to a fox. Oh. Growth. That was cute. Charlie, look at your
That
back.
was so sweet. Oh my goodness.
Like, oh, fox!
That was extremely good and cute. Oh. All right. So, do we want to skip right to the moment when Velino and Annabelle run into each other, or do we want to have Annabelle's like? I think we have to have an Annabelle Ifis moment first.
I agree.
So maybe after tea, Velino or Ifis hands Velino off to the
Well,
to the sword fight.
Ifis actually has a great deal to say to Velino over tea.
Oh,
There's
okay,
planning, there's plotting, there's even possibly scheming.
She could
so let's
send me
let's jump
out,
into
and
that.
then I come back.
Oh yeah. But
Yeah.
let's.
Oh no,
let's-
yeah, it's very much a case of like there is tea in 3 separate rooms in this house. It's not the same tea. Like
All right.
I
Joseph
like
and
that Iris
Caroline
is
have had tea.
pretending all three are
Yeah.
happening at the same time.
Yeah, she didn't expect anyone to actually run into each other, so she's like planning this, and then she will like orchestrate things. She thinks she's very good at this. Okay. So when she greets Velino, it is like in a completely different like little part of the house, which is coincidentally next to the part of the house that Annabelle's going to be having tea. There's this dramatic sliding door.
Mhm.
I don't know if we had sliding doors, but there is one. So she will greet Velino and invite him into tea. And there will be conspicuously no servants in the room apart from Armitage, which is peculiar because there's normally at least like footmen, but there's literally just a butler standing off to one side. And she is serving the tea herself, like she is handing him cake and serving tea, which is not done.
What is
Well, I think it's best for some delicate subjects that tea be taken alone. You seem to be quite fond of honesty in your continental way, and I thought I'd respect that. I have something to discuss with you, and I believe honesty will make it go rather more efficiently. You can ignore Armitage, he knows everything.
That's it.
And she will, pour tea and hand out a piece of cake. Monsieur Chevaux, do you have any intention of wedding the Marchioness?
No.
Do you have any intention of wedding at all?
Yes.
That makes things
But
a
I
lot
do not
simpler
do
then.
that. It is not up to me.
No, quite. You see, I have found that, in this country at least, marriage tends to be founded on money and people, mostly the former. Now, I have a great deal of that, and it has opened a great deal many doors. I hope you don't mind me being so frank and impolite.
No, please do continue, Shant.
Mhm. A friend of mine, who shall remain nameless, expressed an interest in your happiness. A friend of mine I deeply respect and care for, which makes your happiness important to me. So I'm going to ask you very frankly, Monsieur Chivor, what would make you happy?
What we say stays here.
Oh, entirely. This conversation never happened. Again, ignore Armitage. He's very discreet.
The woman that I had come here to see, I want her to be happy, but selfishly, I want her to be happy with me.
What do you believe to be the obstacles between yourself and, I imagine, the good Major? Ears everywhere. It's a rank thing.
Her status
She kind of
is
sits
necessary.
back like...
Her status is necessary, and I am but a Frenchman. No matter what feelings she has to fulfill her duty.
She does that, but you see, status is a tricky thing. It can be bought and won, and quite wonderfully ruined by the wrong person. But it's not the be-all and end-all, if you understand the phrase. And you are a Frenchman, true, but you are in England now, sir. And in England, well, I can do rather more than I could in France. And she sits forward again. As I understand it, you have no standing or fortune of your own. I don't pretend to know how these things happen in France.
Oui, this is true.
Very well. I think we can do something about that. Do you prefer a military commission, or would you take to the church? I have several good livings on the land.
Do you mean this?
I mean that there are many ways to obtain a good marriage, fortune being the easiest of them. I have a great deal of fortune, and, well, you seem to be more in need of it than I. If
Military would allow me to stand beside her. You see that?
it would
You know
indeed.
that.
Sorry, I just want to make it clear, like, he can't have a military job. Right?
No, it would be a case of like leaning on, he wouldn't be able to accept a commission in the military, but he could accept like a clerkship or something. I'm very much fudging this. I am fudging this so hard. She will lean on people.
I don't know that at all.
Yeah,
cool.
She will lean on people. This is very, very not historical.
No, that's fine. I just wanted to like make sure we were all cool with like this kind of like play with gender dynamics. Awesome.
Yeah. I can't guarantee that you would have a combat role. That's rather far above my head. But
I don't care what it is as long as I can be with her.
If the Major has accepted a commission, I can ensure that you can follow her. After the wedding, obviously. I mean, we must do things at least slightly properly. Now and again. What I'm offering
for a wedding,
you is...
she would have to say yes.
That is, unfortunately, the colliery. But I'm working on it. And at that point, she'll kind of like say, oh, have you tried these cakes? Do try the jasmine tea, etc., etc. Excuse me for one moment. I just need to pop into the other room. And we'll go and have tea with Annabelle. She's not subtle. It's not.
Before that, I want to point out, Veleno is like awkwardly like looking at Armitage just standing at the roof.
Yeah. He will follow her, obviously, but yeah, he's just
thank
stood
God.
there.
Okay.
He won't just be left in there. But yeah.
Can I play a monologue token on Veleno? If that's okay with you, Gabe. Okay. Cool.
That's fine. It'll be very quick.
No worries.
There's no way this can be real. Does she actually love me? And he starts like smiling, and like his hand is shaking so much that he puts the teacup down. And that's it.
It's all coming together.
Yes. All right.
I've
so
watched way too many rom-coms, in case you can't tell.
I love it. It's perfect. It's so good. Is it time for Annabelle and Ifis?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let's see the next step in Ifis's master plan.
Right. So Annabelle would have been shown into the other small parlor with the sliding door, but Ifis will like come round and go through many small corridors and such in order to enter from a different door so that the reveal is protected, and will walk in and immediately like walk over and take Annabelle's hands, like being proper be damned. And of course Armitage will come in and stand somewhere because my dear, I'm so glad you accepted my invitation. I was rather worried you wouldn't.
Countess. Armitage.
Ifis, please. I think you've heard that.
Not sure that I have.
Oh, but I think that's rather for me to say. You have definitely earned it 100 times over. I am so sorry, my dear. I feel I'll be saying that for the next few years at least.
How is Bertie?
Oh, I wouldn't know. Darling boy isn't speaking to me. I rather release the hounds, as 'twere. I'll mend it, or I'll try.
If my word might matter to him, I could speak with him before I leave.
I would be greatly obliged. I haven't shown that boy entirely the care he deserves. He's a good sort. Deserves more than me for a benefactor.
You are a most generous champion. Did you rather get caught up in your games? And she's like smiling. She doesn't mean it as a barb.
I have always been rather too fond of games. But for now, I am guileless. To a point. Would you like some tea?
Thank you. What is it that fascinates you about reality today?
Coincidence and propriety. And how pointless one is and how useful the other, and not the one you might think. A little bird whispered something in my ear, and it's rather been all I can think about, my dear.
I wasn't aware that birds could whisper, only tweet.
You learn something new every day. Now, tell me, my dear, I've heard a tweet, a whisper, that you have affection. And I do not ask because I seek, as I did before, to push and prod and meddle more than I ought. I ask because I have an offer for you, which you are well within your right to refuse, and I will say no more on the subject, but I wanted to be sure of it before I offered. I wasn't sure before, and I should have been.
I have long been curious about your interest in the affections of others, your lack of affections yourself. You give so much for others, and yet don't give yourself to others.
There would be a pause, and she would be trying so hard not to look at Armitage, but her body language would kind of move that way, like she's almost leaning towards him without looking at him, and would just smile at Annabelle. Some things, my dear, are beyond even me to accomplish. Some proprieties are beyond even me to reject. So we find our happiness where we can and be glad of what we have. And content with what we do not and cannot.
And Annabelle is just looking at Armitage in like her peripheral. It's one of those things like the audience would know Annabelle was looking at Armitage and knew exactly what she was talking about, but she's not.
Like the focus moves from like
glance.
Iphis' face to just Armitage in the background.
Yeah. What is your proposition? I'm afraid I have only a short time before I must leave.
I would like to send you with a husband. One that I believe you dearly wish. But it is up to you.
I'm afraid that decision is not mine.
Oh, but it is. I have been told that you have affection for Monsieur Chivot. I am certain that he holds affection for you. And as far as I can see, the only obstacles seem to be his unfortunate place of birth and a great deal of money and influence. Now, I can't do anything about the fact that he's a Frenchman. And I don't imagine you would like me to, given if your affections lie that way. But I can do a great deal with the other. It is entirely up to you.
Lady Iphis, perhaps your birds are coming from a long way away and have been delayed. I did care, Monsieur Silver, but I have released him from any promises he made. He has intentions for another, and I wish to respect that.
He very much does not, my dear.
More money than you or I.
Do you believe that the only impediment is his avowed intention to marry the Marchioness? Never mind that that's impossible. I mean, rank does matter, even in France. Is that your only objection? Would you marry him today if you could?
I don't care to deal in bitter hypotheticals, Iphis. Now, if you're here to humiliate me in a new way, it's most inventive of you. And kind of stands up, not understanding what is going on at all.
Iphis just puts her hands up. My dearest friend, I'm trying to get you wed to someone you actually wish to marry this time. I have ensured the man's affections. I have asked, and he has answered honestly. God, that man does everything honestly. I only wish for you to be happy. If this is the way, then please allow me to help. I failed before, I admit that. I failed you and Bertie. I pushed you and didn't accept that it wasn't right. But this is right. You wouldn't be so angry if it wasn't. I'm sorry, I did not mean to laugh.
No. May I spend a resolve token to have had Armitage just like bring Velano, like
just slowly open the door.
Yeah, he's just like outside the door, and like Velano's like waiting outside the door, and like Armitage is waiting for a signal.
Yep.
For the dramatic reveal.
The way I had this in my head is literally there are 2 tea tables and there's a door between them.
Like a little
it's like
screen.
Yeah, I love that.
Like sliding doors. So yeah, I can absolutely see that happening. Actually, he probably wouldn't even be waiting for a signal. I can see him doing it because I'm not doing this right.
You're just talking for too long. Yeah, okay.
Talking, it's just like, and now we need action.
Yeah, I think, yeah, that's my resolve token. Armitage just opens the door.
And then I'll just like stand up abruptly.
Goodness.
And Annabelle stood up because she thinks she's being humiliated by the Iphis in a very creative way today. And obviously we'll see you stand up through the door. And then she looks even more confused.
I take a
Ifis will
step forward and
immediately,
reach
leap up
out,
and be
but then
like,
that pause. Bonjour, Turtle Dove.
What?
You are leaving soon, oui?
Yes. I didn't know you were here.
And neither are you.
rather the point.
Is what?
Did your feelings change? Do you not still see the sunset and remember?
But you rode away with the Marchioness. You were in a duel and you didn't tell me.
Mon chéri, when a woman tells you to accompany her somewhere, if I say no, it is trouble unless I am wed to another. And I do not
You sound
dare
so
say
terribly
I am.
English right now.
I want to be for you.
I
Because
don't
that
want you
is
to be
what...
English.
Do you want
I want
me?
you to be you. And then she realizes she's raising her voice once more in the Countess Denby's house and kind of...
I'll just step through the door. I will go wherever you go if you will take me. I am not an Englishman, you're right. I have tried and I am terrible at it. But
It's all
you
right.
have
I'm-
said that you loved me once for who I am. Did that change?
No. No, I'm a terrible English woman to admit it. But
Then apparently a terrible Englishwoman is the type that I fall in love with.
Beleno, where they are sending me, I mean, the commission I've accepted is not the sort of place where you might follow.
Not according to the Lady Ifis.
Who has absolutely not left.
Sat there
And-
sipping tea.
She has stood up and moved slightly away. She's probably like standing closer to Armitage than is proper, but is absolutely just watching like.
Armitage is looking at her extremely significantly, like, we need to go, but I am not leaving unless you leave because I don't trust you alone with them.
Yeah, she's not leaving. She has made this happen. She's seeing it through.
I get even closer, like a foot away. I will follow you anywhere that you can take me, whether it is your husband or your shadow. But if you think that I wouldn't cross an ocean more than once to see you, if you think I wouldn't cross land more than once to see you, if you think I would not embrace any sort of society to see you, then you forget who I am, Major.
You mistake me if you think I would ever consider you a shadow. You're a sunset and a sunrise and a high afternoon.
Marry me. Today. Tomorrow. And a week
I'm
from
afraid
now.
I can't because I insist that you marry me tomorrow.
I'll take her hand and I will kiss it.
And she will just kind of cup his face and just kiss him fully.
And in the background, you just hear Ifis going, "Well, thank God."
At this point, I think Armitage, like, forcibly grabs. Ifis's arm, and it's like, we're going now. And we will leave on that scene.
Yes!
That was good. I loved that. I'm so proud of you all. You took
That
to
was
this game so
intense.
well.
That was a lot for only 2 sessions.
Well, it's not done yet.
Meddling.
Oh no! What?
It's
I
not
got
done
all
yet.
my weddings.
We have an epilogue to go. So this is like a regular epistolary phase. Everybody gets 2 letters or 1 letter. I don't know. Yeah, let's just do 1 letter. And you can finish off the end of these characters' stories, tie up any loose ends in the form of a letter.
I really should have been writing Joseph's letter during that time, but I couldn't glue my eyes were glued.
No, yeah, you can't look away from that.
I'm actually I'm gonna write my letter and I'm gonna send it to Joseph. And it's going to be to a clever fox. She said yes. From Veleno.
And Annabelle writes a letter. Dear Ifis, please enjoy the enclosed the next time you decide to fight a dragon. The warmest of regards, your friend forever, Major Annabelle Fallow. And she has sent Ifis a really ornate set of dueling pistols. And there's a little slip of paper under them, and it says, "Propriety be damned. Take the shot."
I think Joseph sends a letter to Ifis as well, honestly. And I think the letter is like, to Ifis, I greatly appreciate the wedding present, but you'll be surprised to know that the Lady Carolyn is far more accomplished a duelist than I expected, and she may prove to be your equal. I do not say these words lightly. In fact, I insist that we must meet henceforth and settle the matter. And after all, well, I suppose I have no need to conduct duels as an excuse to see an old friend. But it would be nice regardless. Yours always, Joseph.
Can I only send 1 letter?
Do whatever you want. It's fine.
Yeah.
Okay. You shouldn't have said that, because now it's the wedding present that is given to Villano Chevaux and Annabelle Fallow on their beautiful wedding, which is, really, really OTT and beautiful, is a beautiful ship that is commissioned and built specifically for Major Fallow, for any traversing she may wish to do, and a letter indicating that there are several things in the West Indies that seem to be fiercer than dragons. Maybe she'd like to give them a try. The wedding present sent to Caroline and Joseph is likely as a pair of beautiful sparring swords that are absolutely beautiful scabbards inlaid with things, filigree around the basket and everything, as well as a detailed little pamphlet on mathematics in relationships, which she's written herself. Because, when you're a lady, you just have things to do like that. She will send a letter to the Queen, very polite and, subservient and everything, and maybe indicating that the Marchioness has been acting rather untoward with young men in the countryside. It may not be enough to make her fall out of favor, but it's enough to start. And it's not a letter, but left on the desk in Armitage's quarters is a very particular handkerchief embroidered with very particular initials enclosed, in which is enclosed a single lock of hair and a note that says, yours. And that's it.
I have a question before we end. I need to know, Birdie, tell us about Birdie's future.
We can't end on Birdie. What are we doing?
Yes, we've got to end with Birdie. He needs a happy ending.
Okay. Here, during that whole nonsense in the tea room, I think Birdie has dispatched has stored the pie, but then sees outside the window, oh, the rain's cleared up. Well, I guess I could take the pie, and and walks back to the kitchen to grab the pie. And I think let's just have that meet cute. I think at not another tea room, somewhere in this ridiculous estate. Bertie
Maybe Rebecca was looking for pie in the kitchen. They're both pie people.
Oh my god, and they bond over pie.
Yes.
Give this to me.
What if it's wedding cake and they've gone to go and get like extra wedding cake?
Oh, they meet at the wedding. Yes. Oh, yes, perfect. Yes, love it. Okay. And now that epilogues are over, the last thing we get to do together is title the novel that we wrote.
Oh, I don't know.
The quick brown fox jumped over the lazy dog.
I mean,
I think it should be how about A Guide to Romance Most Proper by Albert Vimes.
Oh, I like
Aww, yes, I like that a lot.
it. That's so sweet.
Oh, that's very, very good. All right.
And the dedication is to the Countess of Denby, who taught me everything.
Oh, my boy, my darling boy.
Ah, this was so good. I'm so happy with this. I mean, I always love epilogue sessions and final sessions, but this was really great. And now we have finished Good Society. Congratulations, you for Charlie and Shakes and Gabe. Like, you took to it just like a house on fire. Like, you.
This is the game I
It's
never
so
knew I
well.
needed. I need this game
That was
so much.
amazing.
This is perfect.
That was amazing. Yeah, I'll echo what Lauren said. Like I wouldn't have believed that this was like some people's first time playing this game. It's just like just jumped straight for it. Jesus. Like,
Oh gosh,
I love this game
that
so
was a
much.
story.
I guess I like to do stars at the end of the game. And I mean, other than like all of you, because you were all so wonderful. I think my favorite thing this session was just like these really wonderful connections you gave me at the end. I had such a great time playing them. And I wish we could have seen more of them, but also I'm really happy with how everything kind of came together at the end. Like, we really ended that story really well. So I'm very, very glad.
And it didn't feel rushed either, which was very satisfying.
Yeah, everybody got their time. So yeah, we can go around maybe as we say goodbye to chat. We can say, give a star for a thing that we liked.
let's do that as part of who you are, where we can find you, and all of that good stuff. Let's go around clockwise and begin with Gabe James. Games, who stole everyone's heart and destroyed us all.
Hi, I'm Gabe. Yeah, you're welcome. Gabe James Games, Twitch, Twitter, pretty much anywhere on social media. This was amazing. It was one of the most just fun role plays that I played, and I like the way this game goes because you get so much in a seemingly short amount of time. And that's what I really like. It always felt the game plays so that everyone literally gets their moment, even if they didn't get their moment previously. And I was like, okay, interesting. This, because Charlie was like, hey, do you want to play? I'm like, okay, sure. I don't know what this is. And then like after the first session, I was obsessed. It's like, I need to know what happens. I need to, and I was so ready for Villanelle to be moody sad boy, and everyone was like, no. It was amazing. I loved this, and you did fantastic, riling us all in.
And I can only echo that sentiment. Lauren, thank you so much for agreeing to facilitate this. We did it kind of on a whim, Lauren, can I please make this happen? And you were like, yes, we can make this happen. I have a plan.
We've been trying for so long. I'm glad it happened.
No. What is your star, Lauren, and where can we find you on the internet?
I kind of already gave my star, but all of you did so well. Like, I'm really happy. Like, Shakes, I really just loved the way you were able to just kind of like flourish, and like it really was the game you didn't know you needed, that you were really to take you just had all of this knowledge, and you were like, I'm ready for all of this, and it was so great, and you played Ifas so beautifully. Gabe Velena was literally actually a Disney prince. Like, he was so wonderful. It was great. Charlie, this was the first time we ever played a game together, which is crazy because we've known each other for so long. And I mean, I knew you would take really well to this game, but I was just constantly so impressed by Annabelle and Caroline. They had so much depth and wonderfulness. And Leandro, I'm so glad that we got to play a game again, because Leandro is probably one of the top, I don't know if there's a ranking of Good Society players, but like if in my list of people I want to play Good Society with, Leandro is like perpetually there. Because he's just so great. And Joseph and Bertie were so varied and wonderful. And yeah, so my star is all of you. I am JL_NiceGirl on Twitter. I'm Starving Soubrette on Twitch and YouTube. Tomorrow on my Twitch channel, I will be streaming Nancy Drew Midnight in Salem. And then on Monday, I will be starting a anthology campaign of solo tabletop RPGs that I'm really excited about. We're going to play Ironsworn. We're going to play You Are an Adventure. We're going to play Sword Saga. We're going to play a lot of games. We're probably going to play Yearwalker. It's going to be great. So definitely check that out Monday at 7 p.m. EST or on YouTube after.
Also, please go and check out Lauren's games that she makes herself. Highly recommend the page I didn't write. If you are on your bullshit, it is a game you will love. It's a solo game all about writing a letter and then unwriting it. Is that fair, Lauren?
Yeah. It's about all the things that you want to say but you can't say, and then saying them and then having to swallow them back. It's a good game.
And major thank you to Leandro. Your first time being here on Encounter Roleplay, our first time playing together. Thank you so much for being our veteran of Good Society. Hit me with all that good information.
I just have to reflect back. Yeah, so my name's Leandro. You can find me on Twitter at lpondoc. That's actually L the left, not. I'm not a luchador. So technically, I should look, I guess. Twitter, I should record itself. like I'm a Battle Blades campaign we recorded on YouTube. I'll retweet that at some point. But I just have to reflect that thanks. Lauren invited me on because, as she said, she wanted a veteran on. But like, I was a bit nervous because, like, you know, more new folks and on Twitch. Oh my God. And look, and like, is this appropriate to show on Twitch? I don't know. But everyone's just been so welcoming and lovely, and just, I mean, I knew Good Society would like get the emotional, dramatic drama out of folks here. But like, I think my big star is just for everyone just being so nice and being welcoming and making this just one of the big highlights of this month for me so far. Everyone's just like, oh my God, these characters are so good, and everyone did it so well. I think Lauren's gonna give out the big stars, so I'm just gonna echo them. But again, yeah, it didn't feel like anyone was playing this game for the first time. Like, again, literal Disney Prince Gabe over there. And you know, it's not just Belno. I think it's just Gabe, like, because I think both of my characters fell in love with him, somehow. And yeah, no, like, again, I'm just gonna keep repeating, like, watching Shakes. I never thought you'd never play this game because you were ready. You were just ready for everything. It was so much, and I love. Again, I love how different Annabelle and Caroline were, and they're so unexpected in so many beautiful ways. So that was great to see that, Charlie. And Lauren, thanks so much. Thanks so much for inviting me, and for corralling us all together. And I did love this. I mentioned this in the chat. This session was kind of like the Lauren's connections come in and shame the PC session, which is lovely. I think it helped everyone like kind of pull together. And again, also the out of character stuff, like, oh, this is how the game works. This is like, we're allowed to like just talk about what we want to do and play to that. I mean, you were mentioning to folks on Discord that like, oh, I want to bang the drum on Good Society for this year, and I think you're doing it really well. I think this is like an amazing showcase for the game. But yeah, that's all for me. Thanks very much for having me again.
Thank you so much. I hope we can have you and Lauren back on very soon. And speaking of Discord, just while I'm thinking about it, if you want to come and talk about this one shot, we do have a channel on the Encounter Roleplay Discord channel for one shots. I'm going to be in there probably screaming about this for a little while. I invite you all to join me and join us there. But let's cut on up to the lady herself. Or I suppose the lady themselves, now that I speak about shit. And move away from Mistress Senby.
So much. You have no idea how much random knowledge I have about the English peerage, and it's just, I get to use it. I love this game so much. You all have no idea. Anyway, I am Shakespeare. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Shakespeare. It's the same handle everywhere because I love it. You can also find me on Holotale's channel on Tuesday evenings playing a pirate D&D game, which is very fun. You can find me here on Encounter Roleplay starting next week. Yes, next week, playing Unhallowed Metropolis with Hollow as our DM. We are playing Death's Curios. It's full of death and macabre things and found families, and it's wonderful. I love it so much. I'm so glad it's back. You can also find me over on Scraticus Academy next Saturday playing a one-shot of D&D over there. I think that's everywhere. I also knit things. If you like knitting things, I do commissions. You can see all of my knitted things on my Twitter. Like Pete, that is Petty Pete, who I love. And my star, I can't just give one star. Everyone was so amazing. This game is so fantastic. All of the characters were incredible. Gabe, you are a Disney prince. I expect to see that in your Twitter bio. Charlie,
it's not the first time I've been told that.
Charlie, you are absolutely fantastic. I just love yelling things with you. It's just the best. Leandro, you're just perfect gentleman. Even when you're challenging people to duels and being very uncouth, it's still gentlemanly. It's majestic. I love it. And Lauren, thank you so much for introducing me to this game and doing so in a way that is so easy to understand. I have a lot of trouble like assimilating new systems because this is all quite new to me, and you explained it in such an amazing way that it was really easy to pick up, and I feel like I've been playing it forever. It's just so incredible. I love this. I love this game. I love the ability to monologue, if that wasn't obvious. I'm gonna shut up now, but I'm just stars for everyone.
Yeah, I was gonna
Thank
say
you.
pro tip for like any other game, monologue tokens are just a great mechanic you can throw into whatever you want. I recommend.
Funnily enough, between the GMs on Encounter Roleplay, we've been discussing these monologue tokens, and I believe we are implementing them into one of our new games coming up. So that is very exciting. Echoing everyone, I loved you all very much. I want to give a massive star to Chat, who was here with us while we were spilling the tea today and enjoying the scandal. I have never felt more like I was watching a movie with friends whilst playing a game. I was here screaming at the heroes to just shut up and kiss each other and don't do that, and it was great. So thank you all so much. We are back on Encounter Roleplay on Monday when it is the premiere of our brand new Song of Ice and Fire show, The Crownlands, which I will be GMing, and I am terribly excited. And that is the kickoff for our premieres week next week. I've spoken about it at length. Please go and check out our little schedule. It is up on the Twitter right now. And hang about if you want to watch some more cool RPG, because we're going to go and raid off the table as soon as we're off there here. Much love to everyone. Remember, I'd rather you didn't roll any dice, because you should be collaborating with friends, telling stories, and running across fields after your long-lost love, making friends with once enemies, and as ever, holding true to propriety and good society. Play games with friends. Take care. We'll see you very soon. Bye, everyone.